peace on earth. Give me life, keep me free from birth. Give me hope, help me cope with this heavy load. Trying to touch and reach you with heart and soul. Give me love, give me peace on earth. Give me life, keep me free from birth. Now give me hope, help me cope with this heavy load. Trying to touch and reach you with heart and soul.
From the Home Auto Group Studios, Farmington Ford and Franklin Chrysler in Farmington. This is WSKW, Skowhegan, Augusta, Waterville, Legacy 1160.
Oh, say, can you see my daughterly light? What so proudly behave, and the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. O'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets in the bursting in air gave through the night that a flame was still there. Oh, saved us that star-spangled banner wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
ABC News, I'm Tom Rivers. Trying to woo so-called soft Republicans. Last night's night 2 of the virtual Democratic convention featured a number of Republican opponents of the president, including
former Secretary of State Colin Powell, who served Republican presidents.
Our country needs a commander-in-chief who takes care of our troops in the same way he would his own family.
He has made his views known and supported Hillary Clinton 4 years ago, but Democrats are using Powell as another example of a Republican who refuses to vote for Donald Trump. Alex Stone, ABC News, Wilmington, Delaware.
Under withering criticism from congressional Democrats, Postmaster General Louis DeJoy said he was rescinding some of the cost-cutting moves he's implemented that have been slowing down the mail ahead of the election. High crimes. Mexican Marines and Customs authorities report seizing 250 pounds of the synthetic opioid fentanyl at the Mexico City airport. This is ABC News. FedEx is now joining other shippers in plans to add surcharges during what's expected to be a busy holiday shipping season. The extra fees will mostly hit large shippers. The man is under arrest after an Orthodox Jewish day camp on New York's Long Island came under threat.
An array of weapons spread before him. Nassau County Police Commissioner Patrick Ryder announced the arrest of Nicola Pella for making a terroristic threat against the Yeshiva Katana children's camp.
If I got to go out there with a freaking machine gun and shoot all these people, I will.
Pella may have been upset that children were not wearing masks.
Yes, we are concerned about social distancing. Yes, we are concerned about the COVID virus. But we are more concerned about those threats that come every year against our children while they're in school.
Police recovered about a dozen guns. Aaron Katursky, ABC News, New York.
Actor Ben Cross has died in Austria. He played Olympian Harold Abrams in Chariots of Fire. Cross was 72. I'm Tom Rivers, ABC News.
These days, it's okay to do some things halfway, like wearing your pajama bottoms on a work call. But managing your prescriptions shouldn't be one of them. That's why CVS has a proprietary search tool to find ways that may help lower your prescription costs, and will deliver them too. No wonder CVS customers are better than most at staying on prescriptions, which tends to make you healthier. Come in or call today and get a free prescription savings review at CVS. Savings vary. Not all patients eligible for savings. Ask pharmacist for details.
You're a smart, hardworking roofing contractor. Save time with the Beacon Pro Plus app. The Beacon Pro Plus app works round the clock for material ordering, checking order history, and automated rebate tracking, saving valuable time, especially when working remotely. Beacon proudly offers GAF Timberline HDZ shingles with a 600% larger strike zone nailing area for faster, more accurate installations. You work hard, now work smarter. Sign up for free at beaconproplus.com today.
I'm CBS 13's Katie Sampson with a news update on Legacy 1160 WSKW. Augusta City Councilors are thinking about consolidating polls for the November election. According to the Kennebec Journal, they're expected to vote tomorrow night on a proposal to hold all voting at the Augusta Civic Center rather than the city's 4 wards. That's what they did for the primary election last month. The paper says the proposal is because of a lack of election workers and to make sure social distancing is possible. Today, Auburn teachers plan to hold another stand-in. They're voicing their concerns over the school committee's reopening plan, which includes 4 days of in-person learning. Today's stand-in starts at 6 p.m. in front of Auburn Hall. It's happening right before the Auburn School Committee meeting, which starts at 7. An update on negotiations between Bath Iron Works and a striking union. Our media partners at the Bangor Daily News say BIW and the union have reached a strike settlement agreement. It outlines how workers will return to the shipyard if the union votes to approve the company's proposed contract. Voting on that contract starts Friday. Maine's Attorney General joins other state attorneys in filing a federal lawsuit challenging the changes being made to the U.S. Postal Service. In a statement, Attorney General Aaron Fry said in part, quote, "I encourage Mainers to cast their ballots in the way they see fit, and I will fight to ensure that they are able to do so without interference." The suit hopes to guarantee safeguards and standards for election mail. News of this lawsuit comes as the U.S. Postal Service's Postmaster General agrees to stop making changes before the November election. In sports, the Celtics take on the Philadelphia 76ers in Game 2 at 6:30. The Bruins have Game 5 against the Carolina Hurricanes at 4 p.m. And after losing to the Phillies 13-6 yesterday, the Red Sox play them again this afternoon at 1:35. I'm CBS 13's Katie Sampson on Legacy 1160 WSKW.
Hi, it's Joey Joseph from Colebrook Mitsubishi in Skowhegan. While other dealers are just scrambling around trying to drop their prices, increase their services, or offer you more money for your trade-in, Colebrook Mitsubishi has been doing that from day one. And that's precisely how we become the #1 Mitsubishi dealer in all of New England. Whether you've been dreaming of driving a new Mitsubishi Outlander, Eclipse Cross, Outlander Sport, or Mirage, we know that you won't find anyone better to help you out. And don't forget our new Mitsubishis come with the industry's best 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty. See us for details. If you've had credit mishaps, come see us and find out how we can help. Everyone deserves a second chance with a nicer, newer ride. Why not choose a small-town dealer with friendly folks to do business with? Small-town dealer with big-time discounts. We wish everyone good health and happiness. You can shop at our facility or online at ColebrookMitsubishi.com with great confidence. Colebrook Mitsubishi, Route 201 in Skowhegan.
Take it to Moody's. Take it to Moody's Collision Center.
If your car is a wreck and you don't know where to go,
take it to Moody's.
You want to get on with your life, get on with the show.
Take it to Moody's.
Good people you can trust and it won't be a fuss.
Take it to Moody's Collision Centers.
MOODY. Your kid was talking on the cell phone, drove right through your own home, sitting in the parking lot. Maybe you get hit a lot, driving through the green light. Suddenly your side swipe, put it in reverse, but it turned out that it was first.
Take it to Moody's. Take it to Moody's Collision Centers.
I'm CBS 13 meteorologist Dustin Bong. This morning, some beautiful sunny skies, temperatures in the 50s for most, warming up to the upper 70s later today. A few extra clouds in the afternoon, just a slight chance for a rain shower. Clear and cool tonight in the low 50s. Thursday, beautiful and sunny, highs near 80. Friday, mid-80s, and a chance for rain.
Thank you, Dustin. Right now, nice soft morning, a little cool, feels good. 57 in Skowhegan, 59 in Waterville. We have sunshine, 59 degrees in Augusta. And you are now up to date from Maine's Heritage Station, Legacy 1160 WSKW.
In a state where common sense is a lost art, he's basically your father.
Didn't crawl out from under no rocks. We didn't have no tails. We didn't come from monkeys. You atheistic pinko meat.
It's the Mike Violet Show on Legacy 1160 WSKW.
A pleasant good morning to you. 610. Welcome in. Mike Violet Show officially in progress. It's that middle of the weekday that we call Wednesday. No humps around here. It's Wednesday, August 19th, 2020. And as is always the case, on Wednesday, it's a Ken and Mike day. The Ken and Mike Hour coming up at 7 o'clock this morning. My once and now current partner, Ken Altshuler, will join me for the whole hour as one of his political heroes, Bill Clinton. On the dais last night at the Democratic National Convention, Jill Biden speaking glowingly about her husband, AOC, last night and more. We'll get Ken's thoughts and reflections coming up at 7:08. And the deepest, most thoughtful political analysis you're going to get on the radio in Maine from both sides of the aisle. Phil Harriman, Ethan Strimling, the boys are back. It's Agree to Disagree on the radio. They will join me coming up at 8:08 this morning. Meantime, there's a lot to get to, a lot of sound and more. Let's get cracking.
Hashtag what? They didn't really say that, did they?
Even while I was on vacation, I woke up in the middle of the night at 3:30 in the morning, just concerned about climate change.
It's hashtags and hot takes on the Mike Violet Show on Legacy 1160 WSKW.
We just need leadership worthy of our nation, worthy of you, honest leadership to bring us back together, to recover from this pandemic and prepare for whatever else is next.
That is Dr. Jill Biden speaking about her husband, Joe Biden, who was nominated to be the nominee of the Democratic Party last night at the Democratic National Convention, both in Milwaukee and, of course, virtually as well. And it was kind of weird. It wasn't. It was weird because Joe Biden looked like he was stunned by it all as he was officially dubbed the Democratic presidential nominee in a rather anticlimactic end the party's primary race roll call on Tuesday night. He was standing in what looked to be a school library with Dr. Jill Biden and his grandkids. And the 77-year-old Biden appeared kind of confused after the virtual roll call amid the coronavirus pandemic. And he stood, as the New York Post says, agape as he was officially crowned the Democratic nominee. Instead of the famed balloon drop fanfare and the large crowds that defined conventions in the past, a sad group of streamers fell from the ceiling as Biden's masked relatives let off party poppers. Then Biden said awkwardly, "Well, thank you very, very much. From the bottom of my heart, thank you all. It means the world to me and my family. And I'll see you on Thursday," he said, accepting an official invitation to deliver a keynote speech at the DNC as the nominee then turned and planted a kiss on his wife, Dr. Jill Biden. Dr. Jill Biden did have more to say about the worthiness of the current occupant of the Oval Office.
Educators, parents, first responders, Americans of all walks of life are putting their shoulders back, fighting for each other. We haven't given up. We just need leadership worthy of our nation. Joe's purpose has always driven him forward. His strength of will is unstoppable, and his faith is unshakable.
Okay. And then Biden showed up.
I'm Jill Biden's husband. As you heard tonight, excuse me, you can see why she's the love of my life. the rock of our family. She never gives herself much credit, but the truth is, she's the strongest person I know.
Now, at the beginning there, listen again.
I'm Joe Biden's husband.
It sounded like he said, I'm Joe Biden's husband. Now, that's all over Twitter that he said that. I don't think he did. He is losing his mind, but I think he still realizes that he's Jill Biden's husband and not Joe Biden's husband. That may change down the line, but who knows? All right, let's move on. There were other speakers last night, including Billy Jeff Clinton.
If you want a president who defines the job as spending hours a day watching TV and zapping people on social media, he's your man. Denying, distracting, and demeaning works great if you're trying to entertain or inflame. But in a real crisis, it collapses like a house of cards.
Wow. Has he gotten old, huh? The voice is going. He looks really tired. Here's more from Bubba.
At a time like this, the Oval Office should be a command center. Instead, it's a storm center. There's only chaos. Just one thing never changes. His determination to deny responsibility and shift the blame.
Now, I don't know about you. Maybe it's just me. It usually is. To have Bill Clinton speaking at your convention, Democrats, talking about chaos in the Oval Office.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Miss Lewinsky.
And on the night where the Daily Mail breaks the story and shows the photographs of Bill Clinton smiling and getting a neck massage from one of Jeffrey Epstein's then 22-year-old victims in a never-before-seen photo during a trip on the Lolita Express in 2002. The picture's a rather ill-timed reminder of the former president's ties to Epstein, as the former president prepared yesterday to endorse Joe Biden and give a speech at the convention. Clinton is seen sitting comfortably and laughing as Shantae Davies, then a 22-year-old massage therapist, rubs her hands on his shoulders. Clinton said, quote, "Would you mind giving it a crack?" Unquote. The images show Clinton, then 56, this was 16 years ago, leaning back while Davies kneels on a chair behind him. And in a second image, he seems to be smiling in relief. He had a, quote, stiff back, unquote.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Miss Lewinsky.
You gotta love the Democrat Party, huh? They have absolutely no shame whatsoever. They really don't. And it is sort of admirable. They drag out turd after turd, they polish them up, and they say stuff like Bill Clinton said last night.
At a time like this, the Oval Office should be a command center. Instead, it's a storm center. There's only chaos. Just one thing never changes. His determination to deny responsibility and shift the blame.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Miss Lewinsky.
Oh, man. I'm telling you, there is something admirable about it from the Democrats. And it's probably why they're so successful sometimes. They have no shame whatsoever. All right, AOC, speaking of dummies, she got a minute to speak at the Democratic National Convention Tuesday night. She made it count as a warning that Joe Biden better not ignore the party's left wing, because she nominated socialist Bernie Sanders and made no mention of the presumptive Democratic presidential nominee. She said, quote, "I hereby second the nomination for Senator Bernard Sanders of Vermont for President of the United States of America," said the New York Democratic Socialist at the end of her 60-second address. Actually, it was more than 60 seconds. We'll let you hear the entire thing coming up in the sound segment after the 6:30 news. Number than ever. Number and a pounded thumb. U.S. Postal Service says it's going to shelve its controversial cost-cutting initiatives until after the election. They're going to cancel service reductions. They're reauthorizing overtime and suspending the removal of mail sorting machines and public collection boxes. This comes just hours after 21 states, including us here in Maine, not me, but others, announced plans to sue the mail service and the Postmaster General Louis DeJoy, arguing the policy changes widely blamed for the mail slowdowns are going to interfere with the election. So now that that has been done, can we stop talking about that, please? Thank you very much. I appreciate that. The Maine Principals Association on Tuesday delaying a decision on whether to hold high school sports this fall, and its executive director cautioned that some sports could be shifted to a different season. Mike Burnham, the head of the MPA, said, quote, "There are certainly no promises. We understand the complexity of this issue, and we would be remiss if we didn't say there is a distinct chance that our fall is going to be very limited," end of quotation. Now, normally I'm the first to jump on let's hammer the MPA bandwagon, but I think the MPA and Mike Burnham are doing everything that they can to make sure that as many sports get played as is possible. But their hands may be tied by what happens above them. From Governor Mills and her sister, Dr. Dora Ann Mills, and of course, Dr. Shaw as well. We'll get more on this coming up later on as well, on what the MPA may or may not do. That'll be coming up later. Oh, the Boston Red Sox. The beat goes on. Your Boston Red Sox are now 6-18 on the season. They lose to the Phillies at Fenway last night. The final, 13-6. Bryce Harper, a 3-run dinger during a 6-run seventh inning. The Phils come back from 3-0 down and 4-2 down, and they win it. The Red Sox have now lost 9 in a row. Rafael Devers did have 3 hits for the Red Sox. The Sox and the Phils again this afternoon, 1:35 at Fenway Park, if you are so interested. And finally this morning, jumping back to regular news, and Waterville City Councilors moving forward with the process of choosing a replacement for City Manager Mike Roy, who's retiring at the end of the year. Mike Roy proposed city employees, Police Chief Joe Massey, Human Resources Officer Bobby Joe Green, City Clerk Patty DuBois, and Executive Assistant Sarah Bowen all be part of a committee to help search for the next city manager for Mike Roy. Council passing Roy's proposal by a count of 4-1. And that, friends, is hashtags and hot takes for this morning. It's that middle of the weekday that we call Wednesday. No humps. It's Wednesday, August 19th, 2020. We do this every Monday through Friday right after the 6 o'clock news.
Road to the White House. 2 former Democratic presidents highlighted night 2 of the virtual Democratic convention.
Joe has the experience, character, and decency to bring us together and restore America's greatness.
Jimmy Carter, who will turn 96 in October.
We deserve a person with integrity and judgment. Someone who's honest and fair. Someone who is committed to what is best for the American people. Joe is that kind of leader.
Former President Bill Clinton said President Trump is your man if he wants someone spending hours watching TV and firing off social media taunts.
Denying, distracting, and demeaning works great if you're trying to entertain or inflame. But in a real crisis, it collapses like a house of cards.
Biden last night formally secured the Democratic nomination for president. He will accept on Thursday. Hogan Gidley, the president's re-election campaign spokesman, hit Twitter to declare Mr. Clinton the absolute last person in the known universe to be opining about how the Oval Office should be used. Richard Cantu, ABC News.
My name is Chris Blackburn. I live in New Gloucester.
I'm Penny. I live in Scarborough.
My name is Carl Parker.
My name is Carla Gill. I'm from Portland, Maine. I have voted for Susan Collins multiple times, and I cannot vote for Susan Collins any longer.
I believe that Susan Collins has changed dramatically.
I have supported Susan Collins, and I will not be supporting her again.
I do not believe Susan Collins is willing to stand up to Donald Trump. Not at all.
Since Donald Trump has become president, it's amazing how often she has taken his side.
I know that Sarah Gideon has long had a reputation for being a consensus builder and working across the aisle to get real legislation done.
I'm supporting Sarah Gideon because I truly believe that Sarah Gideon will fight for Maine.
I believe that Sarah Gideon would stand up to Mitch McConnell.
I have such hope for Sarah. I think she's clearly in touch
with Maine. And that's what I'm hoping she can bring to Washington.
I will be supporting Sarah Gideon.
I'm Sarah Gideon, running for U.S. Senate, and I approve this message. Paid for by Sarah Gideon for Maine.
Feeling cooped up? Tired of looking at the same old stuff day after day? Now that we can finally get out and do a little shopping, why not head over to Town Line Antiques? At Town Line Antiques, there's 2 floors, 50 dealers, and thousands of items from throughout history. They've got vintage signs, furniture, classic electronics, sports memorabilia, jewelry, coins, home decor, and a lot more. Get away from it all with a look to the past. Town Line Antiques, open Tuesday through Sunday, 10 to 5, Route 201, right on the Winslow-Vassalboro Town Line.
Want to know how you can show up your style and save on a great new set of frames with Kennebec Eye Care in Waterville? When you like their Facebook page, facebook.com/Kennebec Eye Care, and post a photo of yourself in your favorite mask and your current glasses, you'll receive $25 off your next set of designer frames. Share your photo and have fun viewing others while you save at the same time. Again, that's facebook.com/Kennebec Eye Care. Some restrictions to apply. Contact Kennebec Eye Care for details. Kennebec Eye Care, your sight specialist at 216 Main Street in Waterville.
With so much uncertainty in the world right now, wouldn't it be nice to know there's one thing you can count on? Hi, this is Teresa Smith, Director of Advising at Kennebec Valley Community College. While no one can guarantee the future, thinking about where we want to be and then taking a single step in that direction is a great way to begin. Whether you've just started to consider a new career or due to the COVID-19 crisis, your college plans have changed for the fall, KVCC can help you start or continue your education. With more than 30 majors, our fall semester offers a wide selection of live, online, and hybrid courses. We even have plans in place for a smooth transition to all online learning should it become necessary to ensure your safety. Fall classes begin on August 31st. To learn more, visit us online at kvcc.me.edu or call the enrollment team at 453-KVCC. That's 453-5822. Now is a great time for KVCC. We're local, we're prepared, and we're here for you.
Better late than never. 626. Good morning. Mike Violet on the Mike Violet Show. Legacy 1160 WSKW. Show's brought to you by Kennebec Electric and Lighting. Contact them for all your electric and lighting servicing needs, including expert installations and repairs. 861-7028. Online, KennebecElectric.com. Sound segment coming up after the 6:30 news. Jim Libby, who was on my show yesterday, talking about fall sports for the kids, high school sports, and where that is. And I mentioned it during hashtags and hot takes, where the MPA is pretty much put things on hold very temporarily. The MPA delayed its decision so that they can get some clarification from the states on guidelines that are going to hopefully allow a safe return to sports during all of this. High school sports have been shut down since April 9th, as we know here. Now, the issue are differing guidelines about sports activities from 2 state agencies. The Department of Economic and Community Development, which issued its guidelines in May for community sports, and the Department of Education, which last week announced protocols for physical education classes. And Mike Burnham of the MPA said it would be difficult to offer a fall season under the DOE guidelines, which emphasize no activities with physical contact, which means other than golf, everything is out, with strict face mask wearing and physical distancing guidelines. So Mike Burnham did say that the MPA came close to canceling the fall season last week after those DOE guidelines were released. And he sent a letter to the state officials asking for some clarity, stressing the importance of sports for the social and mental health of student athletes and the need for consistency in guidelines. He said there are 2 sets of standards. Community sports has their set of standards and guidelines. School-based activities have another set of guidelines. So I firmly believe the MPA is doing everything that they can in order to make fall sports happen. I have certainly been a critic of the MPA a lot of times over the years, but not here. I think Mike Burnham is absolutely right. They are doing everything they can. They did come close to canceling last week, but they don't want to, obviously, and they understand that well-being mentally and physically that sports play for kids. So to that end, Jim Libby just sent me a link to a Facebook page, a Let Us Play rally for students, athletes, fans, and coaches is going to happen tomorrow at 3:30 at Capitol Park right here in Augusta. It is hosted by Christy Minor for the Maine Senate, but hey, let's not make it political because it's not. Democrats and Republicans have kids who play sports. It's tomorrow, 3:30 to 5:30. It's supposed to be a beautiful day tomorrow. Capitol Park in Augusta. Again, 3:30 to 5:30. Students, athletes, and their fans across Maine are ready for the return of school sports this fall. Please join us for an hour of play. Bring your athletic equipment. Share your message to the decision makers in Augusta. Anyone not participating in physical activity is asked to wear a mask, covering as able. So that is tomorrow. So go if you are interested in furthering the cause for getting kids back on the field, back on the court, back wherever they're going to practice, whatever they're going to practice or what they normally practice this fall. That's tomorrow, 3:30 to 5:30 at Capitol Park in Augusta. All right, coming up, sound segment after the news, we'll hear AOC's full minute, actually, a minute plus last night from the Democratic National Convention. Great segment with Tucker Carlson and Jason Whitlock. Big sexy on Fox last night from Outkick. The coverage from Fox Sports Radio. He'll be part of our sound segment this morning. And more from the convention last night. Meantime, Katie Sampson's in for Jeff Peterson from CBS 13 with a real news update. And CBS 13 meteorologist Dustin Bonk has the forecast. Back with sound on the other side on Legacy 1160 WSKW.
I'm CBS 13's Katie Sampson with a news update on Legacy 1160 WSKW. Augusta City Councilors are thinking about consolidating polls for the November election. According to the Kennebec Journal, they're expected to vote tomorrow night on a proposal to hold all voting at the Augusta Civic Center rather than the city's 4 wards. That's what they did for the primary election last month. The paper says the proposal is because of a lack of election workers and to make sure social distancing is possible. Today, Auburn teachers plan to hold another stand-in. They're voicing their concerns over the school committee's reopening plan, which includes 4 days of in-person learning. Today's stand-in starts at 6 p.m. in front of Auburn Hall. It's happening right before the Auburn School Committee meeting, which starts at 7. An update on negotiations between Bath Iron Works and a striking union. Our media partners at the Bangor Daily News say BIW and the union have reached a strike settlement agreement. It outlines how workers will return to the shipyard if the union votes to approve the company's proposed contract. Voting on that contract starts Friday. Maine's Attorney General joins other state attorneys in filing a federal lawsuit challenging the changes being made to the U.S. Postal Service. In a statement, Attorney General Aaron Fry said in part, quote, "I encourage Mainers to cast their ballots in the way they see fit, and I will fight to ensure that they are able to do so without interference." The suit hopes to guarantee safeguards and standards for election mail. News of this lawsuit comes as the U.S. Postal Service's Postmaster General agrees to stop making changes before the November election. In sports, the Celtics take on the Philadelphia 76ers in Game 2 at 6:30. The Bruins have Game 5 against the Carolina Hurricanes at 4 p.m. And after losing to the Phillies 13-6 yesterday, the Red Sox play them again this afternoon at 1:35. I'm CBS 13's Katie Sampson on Legacy 1160 WSKW.
Take it to Moody's. Take it to Moody's Collision Center.
If your car is a wreck and you don't know where to go,
take it to Moody's.
You want to get on with your life, get on with the show.
Take it to Moody's.
Good people you can trust and it won't be a fuss.
Take it to Moody's Collision Centers.
MOODY. Your kid was talking on the cell phone, drove right through your own home, sitting in the parking lot. Maybe you get hit a lot, driving through the green light. Suddenly your side swipe, put it in reverse, but it turned out that it was first.
Take it to Moody's. Take it to Moody's Collision Centers.
Typical politician. Sarah Gideon seems to be talking out of both sides of her mouth. Gideon runs ads attacking corporate political contributions when Gideon took corporate political contributions. In fact, Gideon raked in over $150,000 in political contributions from corporate PACs and special interest groups. Gideon also criticized Susan Collins' Paycheck Protection Program, which helps save over 27,000 Maine small businesses and hundreds of thousands of Maine jobs. Meanwhile, Gideon's husband's law firm took at least $1 million from the same Susan Collins Paycheck Protection Program that Gideon criticizes in her negative attack ads. Instead of criticizing Senator Collins, maybe Sarah Gideon should be thanking her. Say no to Sarah Gideon and her double speak and double standards. Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.senateleadershipfund.org.
I'm CBS 13 meteorologist Dustin Bong. This morning, some beautiful sunny skies, temperatures in the 50s for most, warming up to the upper 70s later today. A few extra clouds in the afternoon, just a slight chance for a rain shower. Clear and cool tonight in the low 50s. Thursday, beautiful and sunny, highs near 80. Friday, mid-80s, and a chance for rain.
Nice soft morning out there. Sunshine, 56 in Skowhegan, 57 in Waterville, 57 sunshine in Augusta. You are up to date from Maine's Heritage Station, Legacy 1160 WSKW.
His mediocre high school academic achievements have prepared him nicely for a career in radio.
Fat, drunk, and stupid is no way to go through life, son.
It's the Mike Violet Show on Legacy 1160 WSKW.
Good morning, 636, the Mike Violet Show, brought to you by Kennebec Electric and Lighting. Contact them for all your electric and lighting servicing needs, expert repairs, and more. Installations, oh yeah. 861-7028. Find them online, KennebecElectric.com. Go to Legacy1160.com. You'll find our live audio and video feeds there. Brought to you by the Harry J. Smith Company. Morning, Facebookers. I know John, when he does his show, his Freedom Pep Rally, which is coming up at 9, he looks right at you. It's nothing against you. But when I look right at, he does right there in the camera. I don't know. I can't do that. I got to look at the computer. Anyhow, John's show, the John James Show, Freedom Pep Rally, 9 till noon, coming up here today. 6 hours live local talk. You'll find it nowhere else in the state of Maine. Our Facebook live feed, as I look right into the camera now, brought to you by Moody's Collision Center. Ken and Mike Hour at 7. Phil and Ethan agree to disagree. Our political analysts from both sides of the aisle coming up at 8 o'clock this morning agree to disagree. All right, sound segment is here and now. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. She got a minute. She took a minute 36.
Good evening, bienvenidos, and thank you to everyone here today endeavoring towards a better, more just future for our country and our world. In fidelity and gratitude to a mass people's movement working to establish 21st century social, economic, and human rights, including guaranteed health care, higher education, living wages, and labor rights for all people in the United States. A movement striving to recognize and repair the wounds of racial injustice, colonization, misogyny, and homophobia, and to propose and build reimagined systems of immigration and foreign policy that turn away from the violence and xenophobia of our past. A movement that realizes the unsustainable brutality of an economy that rewards explosive inequalities of wealth for the few at the expense of long-term stability for the many, and who organized a historic grassroots campaign to reclaim our democracy. In a time when millions of people in the United States are looking for deep, systemic solutions to our crises of mass evictions, unemployment, and lack of health care, en el espíritu del pueblo and out of a love for all people, I hereby second the nomination of Senator Bernard Sanders of Vermont for President of the United States of America.
I think even Bernie Sanders had to roll his eyes at that. She is in so many ways the best tool that the Republican Party has and can use. Keep trotting her out there. Keep AOC out front. I want her out there. Keep throwing Bill Clinton out there for my money, too. On the very day that the Daily Mail came out with pictures of Bubba with one of Jeffrey Epstein's victims, and they have the balls to throw him out on stage last night. Just wow. Okay. Sound segment item number 2 from Tucker Carlson last night from Outkick, the Clay Travis, Jason Whitlock show, and Entity now from Fox Sports Radio. Big sexy Jason Whitlock appearing on the Tucker Carlson show, discussing as a black man the fear and anti-police sentiment within the Democrat Party. This is good stuff here. If it works, it'll be even better if it plays. Like I said, it'll be even better if it plays. Let me refresh the page, see if that makes a difference. Hang on just a moment. Should be all set to go here. There we go.
This is a Fox News alert, and we don't say that lightly. Day 2 of the Democratic National Convention begins tonight, featuring Bill Clinton and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Sandy will be monitoring it. We've taken a look at the Democrats' platform and found something interesting. They don't think it's safe for African Americans to go outside. As the platform says, quote, "It's unacceptable that millions of people in our country have good reason to fear they may lose their lives in a routine traffic stop or standing on a street corner while playing with a toy in a public park." It's scary. Is it true? Michelle Obama echoed this sentiment recently, in fact, last night. But again, is it rooted in reality? Jason Whitlock has been watching carefully. He writes for and is part owner of Outkick.com, which is excellent. We're happy to have him on tonight. Jason Whitlock, thanks so much for coming on. What do you make of this? You hear it a lot.
I think that fear is a mechanism, a tool for control.
Yeah.
And the Democratic Party, the mainstream media, are using fear to control people and to control African Americans in particular. You cannot function properly if you live in an irrational fear. Again, for those of us that have religious faith, we understand that fear is the friend of evil, and the reason you embrace faith is so that you can operate without fear and you can reach your highest potential. This is just an irrational fear. When they put that into the platform, when Michelle Obama echoes those thoughts, I'm just like, what Black communities have they actually lived in? Because that is not the fear that is pervasive throughout Black communities. Fear of being stopped by the police and killed. The stats, the facts, the evidence don't back up this irrational fear. So why is someone trying to instill that fear in us of the police? It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you engage with the police filled with fear, you're more likely to make really bad decisions that then provoke them to take action. It's irresponsible what they're doing and what they're saying.
I'd never thought of that part of it, but you're absolutely right. And you're absolutely right that fear makes every single human being irrational, me, you, everybody. So I wonder what the long-term consequences of this are, apart from the one you just mentioned. Like what kind of scar does this leave on the country if you keep saying stuff like this?
Look, the number one thing you can do to prevent someone from reaching their potential is convince them that they can't, and to convince them that the whole country is rigged against them. Therefore, why even try? Give someone an excuse not to be successful. Give someone an excuse to behave improperly when dealing with the police is how you ensure failure. I was brought up my entire life to go out and attack the world, and anything was a possibility. That was the hope that was put in me coming. I was born in 1967. My parents lived through the civil rights movement. Their goal, their hope for me and my brother, my stepsister and stepbrother, was for us to go out and conquer the world. We're now telling kids you can't conquer the world. And so if you're a Black kid competing against Asian kids, white kids, Latino kids, and you've been convinced, oh, the whole system's rigged against you, you can't succeed, and the other kids you're competing with are out there, well, the world's on a platter for me. If I just go out and attack it and work hard, I'm going to be successful. you have less of a chance of competing against your peers if your attitude and mindset aren't right. Attitude controls outcome. And why the Democrats, I'm just sorry. It's pure evil. It's borderline satanic if you really have an understanding of religious faith, the principles taught in the Bible, why Jesus died on the cross for us. If God's on your side, how can you fail? It's sickening to me what this message, and to see a major political party pump this message into the Black community is really disheartening for me.
You're making me emotional listening to that, because I think you're so right. Jason Whitlock, thank you very much for that.
Yeah. If you don't follow Jason Whitlock or Clay Travis at Outkick.com, you're missing out. Follow them on social media. Follow them on Twitter, Facebook. They have teamed up for a brilliant website. Travis does the morning show on Fox Sports Radio. Whitlock is on with them a lot. Jason, of course, became known as a sports writer, columnist, but he's much more than that. And I played that because of the fear factor, because of the content there about fear and chaos and upheaval and mayhem and all of that stuff, which may as well be the word to describe what Democrats are all about now nationally. Oh, maybe not your Democrat buddy across the street or that Democrat that you know, but the party itself, the movement itself is all about fear. This is all in the playbook, but the number one play to call is fear. They want us to be fearful. They want us to be unsettled. They want us to be uncomfortable. And sometimes, we know that it's okay to be out of your comfort zone, but that's not what they're talking about here. And so that's why I felt it was important to play that, which leads me to this, which somebody just tipped me off and sent me not long ago. I have no idea who this is. I think he's some dude from California, and he's speaking at what looks like some sort of council, city council, town council meeting or something like that. It's really good, and I think it really speaks from the heart. Listen up to this.
I was asked to speak here, Sheriff, good to see you. I'm telling you guys, I'm pretty appalled at what's going on. At first we sat as concerned citizens and we all wanted to figure out how to best navigate our way through this whole COVID thing, and as we realized that it's not quite as dangerous as we thought it'd be, I was absolutely appalled at the cowardice, and as you're sitting there with your masks on, I don't blame you for wearing masks, because I'd be hiding my face too if I was you for what you're doing. It's absolutely horrendous what you're doing to these people. I'm a business owner, and I'm telling you, our families are starving. You guys can sit here with your jobs, you can sit here, you can get paid, you can fall asleep in your chair like that gentleman's doing behind his mask right there, okay? And I'm telling you right now we're being peaceful. And you better be happy that we're good citizens, that we're peaceful citizens. But it's not going to be peaceful much longer, okay? And this isn't a threat. I'm not a criminal. I've never been a criminal. But I'm telling you that good citizens are going to turn into real concerned and revolutionary citizens real soon. And nobody else is going to say that. I'm probably the only person that has the balls to say what I'm saying right now. That we're building, we're organizing, and we'll work with law enforcement or without law enforcement. But you won't stop us when time comes, because our families are starving. And if you don't hear the seriousness of my voice, I hope you open your ears. You absolutely listen to what I'm saying, because this is a warning for what's coming. It's not going to be peaceful much longer. It's not going to be rah-rah. It's not going to be speeches. It's not going to be gathered outside saying a Pledge of Allegiance. It's not going to be waving flags. It's going to be real. When you've seen the things that I've seen, I went to war for this country. I've seen the ugliest, dirtiest part of humanity. I've been in combat, and I never want to go back again. But I'm telling you what, I will to save this country. If it has to be against our own citizens, it will happen. And there's a million people like me, and you won't stop us. Open the county. Let our citizens do what they need to do. Let owners of businesses do what they need to do to feed their families. Take the masks off. Quit masking and muzzling your children. The psychological damage that you're doing to them is horrible. I've had 6 friends kill themselves since it's happened. Veterans who lost their jobs. How do you feel about being complicit in perpetuating that? The greatest hoax ever perpetuated on the American people, and you're a part of it by wearing your masks. In Shasta County, we're supposed to be red country up here.
Wow. Just freaking wow. I literally, my skin, the hair on the back of my neck is standing up. I have goosebumps over that. Again, I don't know who this fella is. I want to, while I'm right here. Yeah, okay. He said Shasta County, and I've just Googled that. That is in California. Shasta County, California is county of Shasta County in the northern portion of the state of California. So it's Northern California, right near the Shasta Trinity National Forest, the Lassen National Forest. It's where Redding, California is. So, and don't confuse Shasta, California, and that part of Northern California with San Francisco and Oakland and Berkeley. It's like apples and manhole covers. They are completely different. Northern California, that high, all the way up to the California border, those are like second district Mainers there, all right? You talk about, so they're like real Americans who do wave their flags and do own guns, much like the people in the second CD here in Maine. That was powerful stuff there. And he is right. I think there's a silent majority of everyday average Americans like that gentleman there from Shasta County, California, who have kept their mouths shut, who have done what they've been told to do, but they're frankly...
I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, "I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore!"
They're Howard Beale. It's 6:51. I'm Mike Violet on Legacy 1160, WSKW.
ABC Entertainment News.
Oscar winner Cuba Gooding Jr. facing new serious claims of sexual assault, this time accused of rape. In a lawsuit filed in federal court in Manhattan, an unnamed woman says Gooding Jr. coaxed her into his room at the Mercer Hotel in 2013 and raped her twice. That she said no many times, but he did not stop. The actor's attorney says the allegations are false. His client is innocent and they're confident the suit will be dismissed. Gooding Jr. is already awaiting trial on separate misdemeanor charges of sexual assault. He's pleaded not guilty to those accusations. A bombshell at the top level of Hollywood. NBC Universal Vice Chairman Ron Meyer has resigned after 25 years, saying in a statement it was because he paid off a woman with whom he'd had an affair. Meyer co-founded the high-powered talent agency CAA, and as president and CEO of Universal Pictures, he was responsible for greenlighting hits including Aaron Brockovich, Gladiator, and the Fast and Furious franchise. Netflix has canceled its critically acclaimed talk show Patriot Act with Hassan Minhaj and Friends star Matthew Perry's 51 Wednesday. Jason Nathanson, ABC News, Hollywood.
My name is Chris Blackburn. I live in New Gloucester.
I'm Penny. I live in Scarborough.
My name is Carl Parker.
My name is Carla Gill. I'm from Portland, Maine.
I have voted for Susan Collins multiple times, and I cannot vote for Susan Collins any longer.
I believe that Susan Collins has changed dramatically.
I have supported Susan Collins, and I will not be supporting her again.
I do not believe Susan Collins is willing to stand up to Donald Trump. Not at all.
Since Donald Trump has become president, it's amazing how often she has taken his side.
I know that Sarah Gideon has long had a reputation for being a consensus builder and working across the aisle to get real legislation done.
I'm supporting Sarah Gideon because I truly believe that Sarah Gideon will fight for Maine.
I believe that Sarah Gideon would stand up to Mitch McConnell.
I have such hope for Sarah. I think she's clearly in touch with Maine, and that's what I'm hoping she can bring to Washington.
I will be supporting Sarah Gideon.
I'm Sarah Gideon, running for U.S. Senate, and I approve this message. Paid for by Sarah Gideon for Maine.
Are you feeling cooped up? Tired of looking at the same old stuff at home day after day? Well, now that we can finally get out and do a little bit of shopping, why not head over to Townline Antiques? At Townline Antiques, you'll find 2 floors, 50 dealers, and thousands of items from throughout history. They've got vintage signs, furniture, classic electronics, sports memorabilia, jewelry, coins, home decor, and much, much more. So get away from it all with a look to the past at Townline Antiques, open Tuesday through Sunday from 10 to 5 on Route 201, right on the Winslow-Vassarboro Town Line.
I'm a hunter, and I am Sam.
The Sportsman's Alliance of Maine is a champion of our rights to fully enjoy Maine as we like. Support the preservation of our proud outdoor heritage by becoming a member at sportsmansallianceofmaine.org today.
Cape Air is committed to connecting passengers and communities to the people and places that matter most. Whether you're off to a favorite vacation spot or looking to spend quality time with a family member in another state, when you fly Cape Air, your safety is always their top priority. They're fully prepared and ready to get you wherever you want to go. So why not book that future trip now and start your planning and dreaming today? To connect with a Cape Air flight out of Augusta, Bar Harbor, or Rockland, visit capeair.com.
Take it to Moody's. Take it to Moody's Collision Center. If your car is a wreck and you don't know where to go, take it to Moody's. You want to get on with your life, get on with the show, take it to Moody's. Good people you can trust and it won't be a fuss. Take it to Moody's Collision Centers. MOODY. Your kid was talking on the cell phone, drove right through your own home, sitting in the parking lot. Maybe you get hit a lot, driving through the green light. Suddenly your side swipe, put it in reverse, but it turned out that it was first. Take it to Moody's. Take it to Moody's Collision Centers.
6:55. Mike Violet on the Mike Violet Show. Man, that was some powerful stuff there from that gentleman from Shasta County, California. I have shared that on the Legacy Facebook page and my Facebook page. Please give it a listen if you missed it when I played it here live a few minutes ago. People are speaking up, and this is where we're headed with the lockdowns, the shakedowns that we've been getting from government. This gentleman from Northern California, I think, speaks for a whole lot of us. The frustration level is getting up there. All right, coming up after the 7 o'clock news, the Ken and Mike Hour. 8 o'clock news. After the 8 o'clock news, it'll be Agree to Disagree. Phil Harriman and Ethan Strimling will join me. Obviously, everybody going to chime in on the convention and what we've heard so far. Hang on. Let me just answer a message here. And I honestly, listeners all over the place who send me these things. There was a listener who sent me this, gentleman from Shasta County, California. Thanks. Don't ever not send me stuff. People always say, I don't want to bother me. I don't care how you send it. You can use the Maine Technology Group text line, 441-6969. Send me stuff that way. Facebook Messenger, text me, whatever. Send me stuff. Email me, whatever. Because if that didn't happen, I wouldn't have had that piece. I don't know if I would have seen it. It actually ended up being on a public group on a Facebook page called Reopen Maine, which I think I'm actually a member of. But that's tremendous. So with the convention tonight and tomorrow night, Biden will give his acceptance speech. And I was sitting here listening to Jill Biden, listening to AOC, listening to Bill Clinton, and thinking that, Biden, this has really bailed out Joe Biden on many fronts. He's got a shot to be the president only because of coronavirus, because if we didn't have coronavirus and the economy were cranking along like it was, this wouldn't be a race. Trump would be way out in front and would win easily. I still think he's going to win. It's just not going to be easy. The other thing is that this convention not being able to be a literal convention where people actually go, where it's this virtual thing in a Zoom box and everything gets recorded ahead of time. If Biden had to actually go to the convention and actually have to speak live, I'm not sure that he'd be able to pull it off. I really don't think he could. I mean, this has allowed him to stay in the basement. They bring him out when necessary, and then they shove him back down there. He's like the redheaded stepchild of the Democratic Party. You know, go to your room, go to the basement. We'll tell you when supper's ready. Speaking of redheaded stepchildren, Ken is not a stepchild, but he is redheaded. He'll join us next. Ken Altshuler live from the Altshuler-Doyle compound in beautiful Freeport, Maine. The Ken and Mike Hours next on Legacy 1160 WSKW.
From the Home Auto Group Studios, Farmington Ford and Franklin Chrysler in Farmington. This is WSKW, Skowhegan, Augusta, Waterville, Legacy 1160.
Oh, the right sweet ones were so gladly stray. And the
ABC News, I'm Tom Rivers. Joe Biden, now the official Democratic presidential nominee. The roll call of states all done online last night. Biden's home state of Delaware put him over the top.
It's my honor to second the nomination of my good friend, Joe Biden.
Delaware Senator Chris Coons there. Tonight, Hillary Clinton, former President Barack Obama, and Vice Presidential candidate Kamala Harris will speak. It's back to remote for University of North Carolina students. Allison Flowers picking up her daughter after just a few days in Chapel Hill.
I kind of figured this would happen, but we had to give it the old Girl Scout try.
Multiple coronavirus clusters reported there and at other schools, including the University of Notre Dame. The World Health Organization saying that 20, 30, and 40-year-olds seem to be spreading the virus to others more. Many of them don't know they're carrying it or symptoms are very mild. This is ABC News. The leader of the opposition in Belarus now calling on European countries not to recognize the re-election of President Alexander Lukashenko. The vote setting off days of protests. In Portland, Oregon, protests over racial injustice have gone on virtually nonstop for about 2 months. And again last night, police declared a riot at one. Some of those closest to President Trump are at the center of criminal referrals to the Department of Justice from a Senate committee.
Multiple sources have confirmed to ABC News that the Senate Intelligence Committee alerted the Justice Department last year to concerns that several members of President Trump's inner circle, including the president's son, Don Jr., and his son-in-law, Jared Kushner, misled committee investigators. Kushner and Don Jr. have long maintained they told the truth. It's unclear what the status of those referrals are at this time. The LA Times and Washington Post first reported on the referrals. Mark Remillard, ABC News.
I'm Tom Rivers, ABC News.
Third floor study hall. First floor homeroom. My dining room table.
Wherever school happens for you this year, Staples has everything from notebooks to sanitizer, laptops to face masks. Now at Staples, get 20% off your in-store purchase of hand sanitizer, masks, and other PPE products. Go to staples.com/20off PPE for your coupon.
In front of the TV.
No chance, kiddo. Staples. Shop in-store or pick up curbside. Ends 8/22. In-store only. Exclusions apply. See store for details. Curbside available in most stores.
Microban 24 protects against Staphylococcus aureus and Enterobacter aerogenes bacteria, but does not provide 24-hour protection against viruses. Every time you touch a surface, you leave behind bacteria. To keep surfaces sanitized all day, use Microban 24. Spray on hard surfaces to kill 99.9% of viruses and bacteria initially. Once dry, Microban 24 is effective for 24 hours on bacteria when used as directed. Microban 24 sanitizing spray, bathroom, and multi-surface cleaner.
I'm CBS 13's Katie Sampson with a news update on Legacy 1160 WSKW. Augusta City Councilors are thinking about consolidating polls for the November election. According to the Kennebec Journal, they're expected to vote tomorrow night on a proposal to hold all voting at the Augusta Civic Center rather than the city's 4 wards. That's what they did for the primary election last month. The paper says the proposal is because of a lack of election workers and to make sure social distancing is possible. Today, Auburn teachers plan to hold another stand-in. They're voicing their concerns over the school committee's reopening plan, which includes 4 days of in-person learning. Today's stand-in starts at 6 p.m. in front of Auburn Hall. It's happening right before the Auburn School Committee meeting, which starts at 7. An update on negotiations between Bath Iron Works and a striking union. Our media partners at the Bangor Daily News say BIW and the union have reached a strike settlement agreement. It outlines how workers will return to the shipyard if the union votes to approve the company's proposed contract. Voting on that contract starts Friday. Maine's Attorney General joins other state attorneys in filing a federal lawsuit challenging the changes being made to the U.S. Postal Service. In a statement, Attorney General Aaron Fry said in part, quote, "I encourage Mainers to cast their ballots in the way they see fit, and I will fight to ensure that they are able to do so without interference." The suit hopes to guarantee safeguards and standards for election mail. News of this lawsuit comes as the U.S. Postal Service's Postmaster General agrees to stop making changes before the November election. In sports, the Celtics take on the Philadelphia 76ers in Game 2 at 6:30. The Bruins have Game 5 against the Carolina Hurricanes at 4 p.m. And after losing to the Phillies 13-6 yesterday, the Red Sox play them again this afternoon at 1:35. I'm CBS 13's Katie Sampson on Legacy 1160 WSKW.
This pandemic threatens the very livelihoods of many Mainers. Senator Susan Collins co-authored the Paycheck Protection Program, saving hundreds of thousands of Maine jobs. Cindy Robbins owns a resort in Poland Spring.
The PPP program saved jobs of my cooks, my general manager, my reservationist, our waitresses, our boat boy. Susan Collins' program got us through a very tough time.
Now, as co-sponsor of S4321, Senator Collins is working to expand small business federal relief and save even more jobs. Stacey Morrison runs a construction company in Augusta.
I'm confident that if my business needs more help, Senator Susan Collins will be there for us.
Call Senator Collins at 207-780-3575. Urge her to pass S4321, the Continuing Small Business Recovery and Paycheck Protection Program Act. Provide more small business relief. Keep fighting for Maine jobs. Paid for by One Nation. www.onenationamerica.org.
There is still plenty of summer left. People are doing projects around the house, and our yard is stocked up better than ever. Hi, this is Ken from Mackenzie Landscaping, your landscape supply center. I would like to thank all of our loyal and new customers. We truly appreciate your business. At Mackenzie's, we have a great selection of granite steps, benches, posts, and cobblestones. Maybe you're looking for natural stone for a walkway, a wall, or even a patio. Well, we've got you covered in all those areas. If you're looking for pavers, retaining wall blocks, we also have a great selection and styles from different manufacturers to choose from. When you're looking for a safe place to pick up landscape supplies, come on over to Mackenzie Landscaping. We have a safe place for customers to talk to our staff, order, and pay for materials. So if you're a homeowner or a contractor, near or far away, call or come over to Mackenzie Landscaping on the corner of the Augusta Road and Carter Memorial Drive in Winslow. Shop smart, shop local, and shop at Mackenzie Landscaping, your landscape supply center.
I'm CBS 13 meteorologist Dustin Bong. This morning, some beautiful sunny skies, temperatures in the 50s for most, warming up to the upper 70s later today. A few extra clouds in the afternoon, just a slight chance for a rain shower. Clear and cool tonight in the low 50s. Thursday, beautiful and sunny, highs near 80. Friday, mid-80s, and a chance for rain.
Thank you, Dustin. Sunshine, it's 60 in Scout Vegas, 61 degrees in the Ville, and 61 here in the capital city of Augusta. And you are up to date from Maine's Heritage Station, Legacy 1160 WSKW.
It's like your father is on the radio every day.
When I was 17, I drank some very good beer. I drank some very good beer I purchased with a fake ID. My name was Brian McKee.
It's the Mike Violet Show on Legacy 1160 WSKW.
Good morning, 7:09, that middle of the weekday that we call Wednesday. Remember, no humps around here. I'm Mike Violet. The show brought to you by Kennebec Electric and Lighting. Contact them for all your electric and lighting servicing needs, including expert installations and repairs, 861-7028. You can find them online at KennebeCelectric.com. You can go to Legacy1160.com, click on the Listen Live link, brought to you by the Harry J. Smith Company, Sanger Avenue in Waterville, and you can watch the show there, which means you can see me talk. And you can listen there as well, listen live there, and you can also watch on Facebook and listen on Facebook. That's brought to you by Moody's Collision Center. It is the middle of the weekday that we call Wednesday. You know what that means. My once and now current partner, Kenneth P. Altshuler, Esquire. It's the Ken and Mike Hour. Good morning, Ken.
I'm so pleased to be able to be here today and accept the nomination of my party for president of the United States. And I accept it. I accept it.
Are you not going to go with the if nominated, I will not accept, if elected, I will not serve mantra of, what was that, LBJ? Who was that?
LBJ. Do you remember how bad he looked when he did that,
too? Oh, man, yeah. He looked like a sad old hound dog, that's for sure.
Well, speaking of sad old hound dog, Joe Biden.
Yes, I knew that was going to be a Joe Biden reference. Mrs. Joe Biden, Jill, spoke last night and talked about how we need to have her husband's leadership in the White House.
Would you agree that the women who spoke the first two nights, I frankly thought, were far superior to the men, which is not a surprise.
Well, I thought
the Democratic Party is the party of women, you know.
Well, but none of them ever, run. They do run for higher office like the president and such, but they never win. They always end up, other than Barack Obama, going with the old white dude. In this case, Joe Biden being the latest old white dude to get the nomination at the age of 77 years old.
To usher in the next generation, which will be Kamala Harris, who will be the presidential nominee and hopefully the president in 2024.
She'll be the president. If Biden somehow manages to win this, my prediction is she is the president by the end of 2021.
You think 1 year?
Yeah, because Biden is mentally deficient and is losing his mind.
You know, I don't think Donald Trump is Mr. Health, to be honest with you.
I don't think he is either, but he is of clearer mind than Joe Biden is. Hell, my 97-year-old father's of clearer mind than Joe Biden is, but...
Well, I'm not sure I would describe Donald Trump as a clear mind ever.
He's more clear-minded than Joe Biden is. Now, that's like being the world's tallest midget in some cases, or tallest little person. I know they're called little people now. I apologize for that. Please send your emails to station management and not me personally there. Look, the bottom line is your party is nominating a 77-year-old man who I think is suffering from dementia. I won't even get into the fact that he likes to sniff little girls. That's another topic for another time. But I was just talking before we came on that this coronavirus has helped Biden in so many ways. The economy, which was rolling along in March when this all happened, if this had never happened, Biden wouldn't have a chance. And B, because it has happened and because it has stopped every live appearance of any presidential candidates, the fact that he actually is not going to be live and able and having to deliver his acceptance speech live is a bonus for him because they can choreograph it.
I tend to agree. Now, before we count out Donald Trump, which I would, as you know, I would love to do, I would love to say that this is going to be a slaughter and that Donald Trump is going to go down in flames. I'm not going to say that because remember, it has not been very typical that a sitting president's been unseated. Right, 1980 it happened, and 1992 it happened.
Right.
So it's not a common occurrence. The economy, if you looked yesterday, stock market reached a new high. So, and by the way, it's inexplicable why the stock market is doing what it's doing. It's absolutely, we have high unemployment, coronavirus closing businesses right and left. The economy is a disaster, yet the economy, the stock market, which is supposed to be the meter of the economy, continues to just explode. And by the way, if you talk to a broker, and ask Phil Harriman when he comes on, Phil, how come the stock market's doing so well? His answer is going to be, I have no freaking clue.
I love it when a financial advisor says, I have no idea.
Yeah, because it's inexplicable. You're right, though. Coronavirus, if it wasn't coronavirus, and still, most Americans will say the most important issue to them is the economy, number one. And I think Donald Trump's strength is the economy. Still, I think most people think that, and I think the facts back it up, that whether it's because of him or despite him, the economy is, even now, still strong. So everything else, support, the handling of coronavirus, right or wrong, whether the president gets blamed for that, most people think that Joe Biden would do a better job. I don't know exactly what that means, other than maybe he'd be accurate about the numbers and be more encouraging about wearing masks. I don't know. But so I still think it's going to be a squeaker. I think it's going to be and lots can happen. If October surprises are plentiful.
We have not yet begun to fight. Believe me, this is going to get wacky. You mentioned masks last week, right after Kamala Harris came on the ticket. He and Ms. Harris came out and announced that there should be a national mandate to wear masks all the time. Is this what the Democratic Party is all about?
I think the American public probably, I'm going to say they probably agree with that. I mean,
really?
It's hard to gauge what the average American is. I mean, certainly, I went into a store at Cumberland Farms the other day, and a guy came in without a mask on, and I'm telling you, there were people who shouted at him to get out of the store. And granted, that was Yarmouth. I remember, maybe not mainstream America or even Maine. I don't know if wearing a mask bothers people. I see a lot of people wearing masks that I never thought would wear a mask. I got to tell you.
Well, I put one on yesterday to go into Hannaford and Portland, only because I don't want to get stopped on the way in and be told to wear one, even though I hate it. And I think people who wear them are dumb. I did it. I know you know what, Ken? I'm going to make a vow to you right now. I'm not going to wear a mask anymore because I feel very much like a hypocrite when I do. So I'm not going to wear one anymore.
Well, hold on a sec. Don't you agree that and let's take Fauci, for example. He says that wearing a mask is an essential part of protecting our society. Two things he says: maintaining social distancing and wearing a mask. If you can't social distance, or if you go into,
but we're not social distancing, Ken.
I agree.
We're not doing it, and we're not wearing masks either. And we're talking about something with a 99.96% survival rate.
I agree that based on the numbers, it's not. But there's been a lot of people who've gotten this, and a lot of people have died from it. This is we're past the annual death toll for the flu by 3 times.
Yeah, I know. It still has a 99.96% survival rate, Ken. I know a lot of people.
So do you embrace the Swedish concept of the herd immunity concept?
Here's what I embrace. I embrace the fact that the coronavirus is here, and it is something that we have to live with. And I feel like in order to live with it, We need to live our lives, and we need to beat it down through the normal course of action and not walk around being scared and fearful of it, knowing what we know right now with a 99.96% survival rate. I think we can resume normal life and normal activities and beat this thing down. That's what I think. Take it for what it's worth. It's not worth much. Believe me, I know that.
Well, you are going to have huge numbers of look at the wedding in Maine, where all these people got coronavirus. Now, they may not die from it, but let me tell you, from somebody who is suffering from something that's not coronavirus, and I don't know what the hell it is, but for 2 weeks I've been hacking my head off.
Yeah, you still sound like crap.
Well, I know, and I'm actually, except for my cough, I'm actually fine.
Yeah.
But people, I know somebody who had coronavirus.
Yeah, me
and
too.
They said,
me too.
You want to die. I mean, it is a horrible flu.
I know two people who had it. One who, she said it sucked. It was awful. She didn't come close to dying or anything, but she was really sick. The other person, it wasn't even like having a cold.
Yeah. It's true. People deal with it differently. And, it has certainly altered the landscape of America. And I started thinking about this. It's not going to change until we have a vaccination. And I'm not even that a vaccination is going to necessarily be, it's not going to wipe it out like smallpox. But I think once we have a vaccination, things will return to normal. The question is when. And by the way, if we have a vaccination in October, Joe Biden is toast.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. You're absolutely right on that. But I think people are ticked off. The people that I roll with, as opposed to the people that you might roll with, I think they're a completely different group of people. Did you hear the audio that I played earlier of the gentleman from Shasta County, California?
No.
Okay. I want to play that for you if you don't mind, all right?
No, please.
Okay. It's a couple of minutes long.
Okay.
So stick with me here, and I'm going to play that again for Ken now.
I was asked to speak here, Sheriff, good to see you. I'm telling you guys, I'm pretty appalled.
I'm just going to stop it. Ken, were you able to hear what he said so far?
Something about being appalled.
Okay, all right. So, all right, here we go. Carry on.
What's going on? At first we sat as concerned citizens and we all wanted to figure out how to best navigate our way through this whole COVID thing, And as we realized that it's not quite as dangerous as we thought it'd be, I was absolutely appalled at the cowardice, and as you're sitting there with your masks on, I don't blame you for wearing masks because I'd be hiding my face too if I was you for what you're doing. This is absolutely horrendous what you're doing to these people. I'm a business owner, and I'm telling you, our families are starving. You guys can sit here with your jobs, you can sit here, you can get paid, you can fall asleep in your chair like that gentleman's doing behind his mask right there, okay? And I'm telling you right now we're being peaceful. And you better be happy that we're good citizens, that we're peaceful citizens. But it's not going to be peaceful much longer, okay? And this isn't a threat. I'm not a criminal. I've never been a criminal. But I'm telling you that good citizens are going to turn to real concerned and revolutionary citizens real soon. And nobody else is going to say that. I'm probably the only person that has the balls to say what I'm saying right now. That we're building, we're organizing, and we'll work with law enforcement or without law enforcement. But you won't stop us when time comes because our families are starving. And if you don't hear the seriousness of my voice, I hope you open your ears and you absolutely listen to what I'm saying. Because this is a warning for what's coming. It's not going to be peaceful much longer. It's not going to be rah-rah. It's not going to be speeches. It's not going to be gathered outside saying a Pledge of Allegiance. It's not going to be waving flags. It's going to be real. When you've seen the things that I've seen, I went to war for this country. I've seen the ugliest, dirtiest part of humanity. I've been in combat, and I never want to go back again. But I'm telling you what, I will to save this country. If it has to be against our own citizens, it will happen. And there's a million people like me, and you won't stop us. Open the county. Let our citizens do what they need to do. Let owners of businesses do what they need to do to feed their families. Take the masks off. Quit masking and muzzling your children. The psychological damage you're doing to them is horrible. I've had 6 friends kill themselves since it's happened. Veterans who lost their jobs. How do you feel about being complicit in perpetuating that? The greatest hoax ever perpetuated on the American people, and you're a part of it by wearing your masks. In Shasta County, we're supposed to be red country up here.
All right, there it is. Thoughts, Ken?
So it's very hard to tell if that's a majority opinion or not a majority opinion. You're right that I go in different circles than you. But right. I went to last night I ate indoors at the Harris Teegan for the first time.
Really?
Because Linda avoids going indoors. And it's not because she's scared of getting coronavirus, but because we have grandchildren and she spends a lot of time with the grandkids and she doesn't want them to get it. But Tucker has asthma.
Yeah, but they're not going to get it, Ken. They're the ones who get it the least.
Well, we don't, but you don't see. We don't look. This has been, whether it's been an overreaction or not. Let's assume we're going to get vaccination in January, which I think is a pretty likely possibility. That's going to mean that this pandemic lasted 1 year. Now, it's been an irritating year and an upsetting year and a tumultuous year, but it's been a year. We are assuming, Mike, I mean, by you saying the mortality rate is very low, and you may be right. 1 year out of our lives, we don't know what would have happened without the mask and without the social distancing. We don't know what would have happened if 2/3 of America got coronavirus and what that would have done to businesses. So I believe that most Americans believe that taking safety precautions is a small sacrifice to pay to flatten the curve, which was the original goal, and I understand we kind of lost sight of that, and minimizing the impact of coronavirus. I may be wrong. I think people like the person who just ranted, I think they're in the minority. But I go in different circles than you do, right? And I don't watch Fox News. I watch CNN. And so we are probably getting two different feeds of news, okay? But I poo-pooed this when it first started in February. And I felt bad for Corona beer. I thought they were going to go out of business.
Ken, your heart was in the right place, man.
Right. And I said, people die of the flu. We have 6,000 people die of the flu every year. Let's not get carried away. But I do believe, and when you have Fauci and you have the CDC guy, when you have these people saying, listen, and these are people that are hired by Donald Trump, so let's not minimize them. When they're saying, listen, we need to take these basic steps just to be as safe and cautious as possible within the context of having a free society. And the problem is the United States is a free society. And that's why we have more coronavirus than anybody else, because we're a free, open society. In Russia, you're not going to have the problem we have. Russia can just go out and kill people if they got coronavirus, and I'll worry about it, But I don't think the sacrifice is that huge. I don't think wearing a mask. And look, I've seen some businesses. I went to Clayton's lunch yesterday. They have a takeout business that is just booming.
Where's this?
There are ways to adapt, and you're going to see new businesses, new ways of operating. Not everybody's going out of business, and I think it's worth a year out of our lives to make sure that we beat this coronavirus. I don't think that's a huge sacrifice.
What was the takeout business you went to?
Clayton's in Yarmouth.
Oh, really? Got to give them.
You got to call. You place the order. Then you go up in there. You call them. You tell them you're there.
What kind of food?
Sandwiches, breakfast food, bakery, fabulous. It's a great sandwich shop. And I'm telling you, that parking lot was filled from 11:30.
Yeah, it's one of those good things that's going to come out of this. I think we'll have more outdoor dining, more takeout, which is good. I'm going to leave you as we go out to news here with this. Those who would give up essential liberty to purchase a little temporary safety deserve neither liberty or safety. Who said that?
Wasn't that Benjamin Franklin?
It was. I will leave you with that for now. You sit tight there. We'll break for a real news update from CBS 13's Katie Sampson, who's in for Jeff Peterson. CBS 13 meteorologist Dustin Bonk is in for Lexi. We'll come back more with Ken Altshuler. It's the Ken and Mike Hour on Legacy 1160 WSKW.
Take it to Moody's. Take it to Moody's Collision Center. If your car is a wreck and you don't know where to go, take it to Moody's. You want to get on with your life, get on with the show, take it to Moody's. Good people you can trust and it won't be a fuss. Take it to Moody's Collision Centers. MOODY. Your kid was was talking on the cell phone, drove right through your own home, sitting in the parking lot. Maybe you get hit a lot, driving through the green light. Suddenly your side swipe, put it in reverse, but it turned out that it was first. Take it to Moody's. Take it to Moody's Collision Centers.
Hi, it's Joey Joseph from Colebrook Mitsubishi in Skowhegan. While other dealers are just scrambling around trying to drop their prices, increase their services, or offer you more money for your trade-in, Colebrook Mitsubishi has been doing that from day one. And that's precisely how we become the #1 Mitsubishi dealer in all of New England. Whether you've been dreaming of driving a new Mitsubishi Outlander, Eclipse Cross, Outlander Sport, or Mirage, we know that you won't find anyone better to help you out. And don't forget our new Mitsubishis come with the industry's best 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty. See us for details. If you've had credit mishaps, come see us and find out how we can help. Everyone deserves a second chance with a nicer, newer ride. Why not choose a small-town dealer with friendly folks to do business with? Small-town dealer with big-time discounts. We wish everyone good health and happiness. You can shop at our facility or online at ColebrookMitsubishi.com with great confidence. Colebrook Mitsubishi, Route 201 in Skowhegan.
I'm CBS 13's Katie Sampson with a news update on Legacy 1160 WSKW. Augusta City Councilors are thinking about consolidating polls for the November election. According to the Kennebec Journal, they're expected to vote tomorrow night on a proposal to hold all voting at the Augusta Civic Center rather than the city's 4 wards. That's what they did for the primary election last month. The paper says the proposal is because of a lack of election workers and to make sure social distancing is possible. Today, Auburn teachers plan to hold another stand-in. They're voicing their concerns over the school committee's reopening plan, which includes 4 days of in-person learning. Today's stand-in starts at 6 p.m. in front of Auburn Hall. It's happening right before the Auburn School Committee meeting, which starts at 7. An update on negotiations between Bath Iron Works and a striking union. Our media partners at the Bangor Daily News say BIW and the union have reached a strike settlement agreement. It outlines how workers will return to the shipyard if the union votes to approve the company's proposed contract. Voting on that contract starts Friday. Maine's Attorney General joins other state attorneys in filing a federal lawsuit challenging the changes being made to the U.S. Postal Service. In a statement, Attorney General Aaron Fry said in part, quote, "I encourage Mainers to cast their ballots in the way they see fit, and I will fight to ensure that they are able to do so without interference." The suit hopes to guarantee safeguards and standards for election mail. News of this lawsuit comes as the U.S. Postal Service's Postmaster General agrees to stop making changes before the November election. In sports, the Celtics take on the Philadelphia 76ers in Game 2 at 6:30. The Bruins have Game 5 against the Carolina Hurricanes at 4 p.m. And after losing to the Phillies 13-6 yesterday, the Red Sox play them again this afternoon at 1:35. I'm CBS 13's Katie Sampson on Legacy 1160 WSKW.
Enjoy some fresh air and fresh art with Common Street Arts. Hi, I'm Kika, Program Manager of Waterville Creates, inviting you to check out the latest exhibition at Common Street Arts Gallery, Mojus, or Maine Open Juried Art Show, featuring Maine artists in a variety of media. And don't forget to take a look at Annika Early's installation titled in German Zauberstabet, or As She Made Her Bed. You can see her beautiful work right in our front window at 93 Main Street, Waterville. We have fresh projects going on in our after-school programs for kids on Tuesdays and Thursdays, all the way to the end of the school year. And don't forget, our popular summer art camps start on June 26th and run for 7 weeks. Welcome spring with fresh art from Common Street Arts. For more information and to sign up, visit commonstreetarts.org. And don't forget to like us on Facebook.
Hi, my name is Tony Esposito from Rockland Ford, and we want to buy your car. An unexpected situation created by this pandemic is that there is a nationwide shortage of inventory. Now, what does this mean for you? This means that the vehicle you own has never been worth more. In some cases, your vehicle is worth retail book value. I have never seen anything like it. So, if you need some extra cash or a lower payment, there has truly never been a better time to sell or trade your vehicle. If I was a consumer, I would sell high on my trade while buying low and cashing in on 0% interest and manufacturer's rebates. This is not a gimmick. This is real talk. Don't wait. Call us at 594-4466 today for a free purchase offer. or visit us at rocklandford.com.
I'm CBS 13 meteorologist Dustin Bong. This morning, some beautiful sunny skies, temperatures in the 50s for most, warming up to the upper 70s later today. A few extra clouds in the afternoon, just a slight chance for a rain shower. Clear and cool tonight in the low 50s. Thursday, beautiful and sunny, highs near 80. Friday, mid-80s, and a chance for rain.
Thank you, Dustin. 58 degrees, sunshine in Skowhegan, 60 in Waterville, 60 degrees with sunshine at Augusta. You're up to date from Maine's Heritage Station, Legacy 1160, WSKW.
His mediocre high school academic achievements have prepared him nicely for a career in radio.
Fat, drunk, and stupid is no way to go through life, son.
It's the Mike Violet Show on Legacy 1160 WSKW.
Good morning, 7:34. The Mike Violet Show in progress. The Ken and Mike Hour in progress. Brought to you by Kennebec Electric and Lighting. Call them 861-7028 online, KennebecElectric.com. You can follow this show, listen, watch both, one, the other, by going to Legacy1160.com, clicking on the Listen Live link. That's brought to you by the Harry J. Smith Company. Our Facebook Live audio and video brought to you by Moody's Collision Center. So your boy, Ken Altshuler, Bill Clinton spoke last night on the very day that some photographs came out of him and a 22-year-old former member of the Jeffrey Epstein harem. Boy, timing is really interesting in life sometimes, isn't it?
You know, first of all, I was impressed that they kept Bill Clinton fairly short. You know, in the Me Too movement age, certainly his image has been tarnished, as it should be. And I do think timing is everything. I mean, I think there was a fairly good mix between the old and the new. I thought that, you have to have him. I think Cindy McCain was a great get, frankly.
Yeah, she, for those people who don't know, Cindy McCain was part of things last night because John McCain, her late husband, and Joe Biden were buddies.
Right. I thought Colin Powell, I thought, did a good job too. I think he's one of the, he's probably not a darling of the Republican Party after supporting Barack Obama, but certainly has some stature. I thought AOC, actually, they kept her on a leash, which is good or bad.
Ooh, boy,
I didn't mean it that way.
That could be misconstrued by someone to be a very misogynist, almost abusive remark there, Ken. But remember, I'm the host of the show, and I really don't care, and I thought it was funny.
Right. So, but I mean, she it was a token nomination of Bernie Sanders.
Yes.
Which is okay. And I saw Bernie Sanders on either, I think it was Meet the Press. I saw him on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't very inspiring.
No.
Not that I expected him to be, but, look, it's going to be interesting to see if the progressives come out and support Joe Biden, because they still didn't come out and support Hillary Clinton. Now, let's be honest, Hillary did more to torpedo Bernie Sanders than Joe Biden did. So I think that there was really more backlash. But, it's going to come down to turnout. And, of course, Donald Trump's doing everything he can to shut down the post office. You got to give him props for,
Well, look, I always say here that the Democrats they have no shame, and they will go to any lengths to win, and they don't care at all. And the Republicans, not Trump necessarily, but Republicans walk around wimpy. Even Al Diamond I had Al Diamond on the show yesterday. He even said yesterday that Republicans lack balls. He's right. But the postmaster, whether it's a Trump puppet or a pump trumpet or a pump trumpet or a Trump puppet, whatever he is, he already came out and said everything is going to go back to normal, which leads me to a question I wanted to ask you. You and I have kind of butted heads in the past about same-day voter registration. I've actually changed and gone to the way you are now, that it shouldn't be allowed. But where are you with mail-in voting? I'll tell you where I am first. I don't think you ought to be able to mail in a ballot. You want to vote absentee, you go get the ballot, you fill it out, you either return it then and there, or you return it yourself at another point. There's no mail involved whatsoever. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I'm almost there with you. I certainly believe you should go pick up your ballot. I think you go to the clerk's office, You should say, I want an absentee ballot. I think you sign out for it. And I think if you get one, that means you can't show up to the polls a day and vote because your assumption is you're voting by absentee ballot. I think anybody should be able to vote by absentee ballot. I don't think you need an excuse. If I want to mail in that ballot, that's my business. Okay. If it gets lost, if it gets delayed, if it doesn't get counted, that's my problem. That's not what I would do. I would hand deliver my ballot back. And if you see the mail-in ballot, the absentee ballot, you've got to sign it. I mean, your signature's on the back. And I have no problem with the clerk saying, you know what, that signature doesn't match your signature. I'm going to invalidate it. Now, you got to be careful giving a clerk that kind of power.
But stop.
Yeah.
Stop. Why? See, there's something that bothers me right there. Signatures and such. When we go to the polls to vote, there isn't anything like that. We don't have to prove it's us. We don't have to do anything like that. We don't have to flash our license or ID. Why are you worried about the signatures matching up?
Well, because I believe in having ID. I don't believe.
I know that, but that's not the law of the land.
Well, but I'm not in charge yet. Once I'm in charge,
oh
it'll be
boy,
the law of the land.
Boy, I feel impending doom.
I just look. I think that voting is a right and a privilege, but it's not without conditions. And I don't. If you want the process to be with integrity, now I understand the fear that the Nazis are going to be standing by the ballot boxes in the future and making sure you vote for Vladimir Putin, removing the middleman completely. I mean, I understand that, but that's not the way America is yet, and I don't think it ever will be. And so I don't have any problem with saying if you want to vote, you got to prove you're an American. I don't believe that you should vote if you're not an American citizen. Voting is a privilege, being a citizenship. I can't go vote in the French election. So I believe American citizens should vote. And I think that you should prove who you are, and you should make sure that do whatever you can to make sure you only vote one time. I don't think that's unreasonable.
Texter says that they are going to move into the northern Maine woods when you do get in charge of things.
Let me tell you something. If I was a benevolent dictator, which I would be.
You would be.
I would not make you wear your underwear outside your clothes. I would not do anything like that. This state would be run, first of all, balanced budget. It would be a balance.
But Ken, there's a constitutional amendment in Maine. You have to balance the budget.
Okay. Restricted spending, balanced spending. I would follow John Baldacci's leadership in consolidating school districts, getting rid of the superintendent, cutting those by 90%. You'd have so much more money for the education system. Lots of good things could happen.
So here's my quick Ken and Mike Hour poll question. If you had a choice between Janet Mills as governor and Ken Altshuler, who would your choice be? Quickie poll 441-6969 on the Maine Technology Group text line, or you can send me a Facebook message or a regular text message. If you had a choice between Janet Mills and Ken Altshuler, who would it be? Mine is very simple. It would be you, my friend.
Well, that's a wise decision, and I like Janet Mills, but I am
and he's modest too, by the way.
What was that?
And I said you're modest too.
Well, of course I am. I think modesty is an important ingredient in leadership.
Sure.
That's as Donald Trump has exemplified.
But being modest and not being a narcissist, two things he is great at.
So, what did you think of Sarah Gideon's moment in the spotlight last night?
I did not see it. I heard about it. So why don't you tell us about it?
I thought she had this singer on. I don't remember. I'm sorry. I can't tell you the name of the singer. I think she won the best new artist on the Grammy Award. But so she said, get in. She's running for Senate against Collins, and with new leadership, Joe Biden and
the singer's name is Maggie Rogers.
Do you know her?
I never heard of her in my life.
I'm not sure what her song had to do with. It was something about being in my body. I'm not sure. I mean, first of all, I thought it was a little titillating title, but then it wasn't what I thought it was about. So I don't, but, I think overall, I think Sarah Gideon she presented herself well. Sarah Gideon presents herself very well. She's articulate, she's young, she's attractive. So I thought she was good.
Yeah. Okay. I actually found it. It's too long to play, so I won't play it now. Maybe I'll play it later on this morning, but I didn't see it. Don't know who Maggie Rogers is. Have no idea. The Gideon Susan Collins race continues to be something where the polls say it's 3, 4, 5 points, depending on which poll. That doesn't surprise me, and I think it'll stay that way until Election Day, when I still think Susan Collins is going to win this thing.
As you know, I don't buy the polls. I don't understand the polls. Clearly, to me, Susan Collins is being dragged down by her affiliation with Donald Trump.
Yes.
Now, that being said, the second district loves Donald Trump, and I still think Donald Trump will eke out a victory in the second district. I do. I just haven't seen any change in his support in the second district. Whether or not the first district will be more overwhelming for Biden than they were for Hillary, I think they will be. But I think that in the state, more votes will go for Biden than went for Hillary. But so it really depends on the turnout in the first district. If the turnout in the first district is like 70%, I think Susan Collins could lose. It's going to be a squeaker. It's going to be with 52-48, 51-49. It would not surprise me. And of course, you mentioned you think Jared Golden is going to do much better.
Yeah.
I still think 51-49, 52-48. I think it's going to be very close.
Well, I hope it's that close. And I'd like to see Dale Crafts win, but I don't think it's going to be that close. And I think it's going to be one that he wins, that Jared Golden wins easily. We've had a lot of discussion here on the show yesterday, and we are sitting around waiting here for the Maine Principals Association to decide whether or not we're going to have a fall sports season, Ken. High school football, high school soccer, high school field hockey, and all other sports. Have an impression on how to handle that?
It's one of these. It's one of these physical health versus mental health. I think kids not going to school, particularly younger kids, maybe even including middle school.
Are your grandkids going to school?
I think Freeport's doing a hybrid. I think they could do full time. I think they're doing the 2-day Friday virtual.
I forget what grade are they in now.
They're turning 7, so they're gonna be in first grade.
Okay.
Yeah, they're gonna be in first grade.
Okay.
So I think that my grandkids suffered mentally by not being in school. I think that the negative impact on them staying out of school has been more significant than their exposure to coronavirus, frankly. High school kids, it's hard to tell if emotionally or psychologically it's damaging for them not to congregate and, smoke outside around the gym. Do they still do that?
No, Ken. I think they banned that.
Well, how about vapor? Vape?
Yeah, that's interesting because that, of course, is a big thing now. I would assume that's banned as well.
Okay, but, so were cigarettes. And no, we actually had at my high school, John Marshall High School, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, which just canceled its 50th class reunion.
Oh, man.
Yeah, they said they could have it next year.
Yeah, we used to have this. I know where you're going. Go ahead, finish.
Yeah, they had a designated place
for
students to smoke. You could go outside during the class and smoke. It was illegal, but they had a place for
We
it.
did too at Waterville High. It was called Anywhere Outside. And teachers used to come out and bum cigarettes off us kids.
Yeah.
That's true.
That's not happening anymore.
No. That would be awesome if it did, but no, it's not true. But we used to have purple posts because the colors of Waterville High are purple and white. We had purple posts, and the teachers, I can remember one in particular, used to come out and bum Marlboro Reds off me all the time. That is not happening in 2020. We know that to be absolutely sure. But the discussion of high school sports And that reminds me, there is a rally tomorrow in support of high school sports in Maine. And give me a second to bring the page back up again here. Hang on. There we go. It's tomorrow from 3:30 to 5:30 at Capitol Park in Augusta. Students, athletes, fans, and coaches, let your voices be heard. I know obviously you're a big pro sports fan, big pro football fan, but a college football fan because of the fact that you're a Michigan graduate. The Big Ten came out with a schedule a couple of weeks ago, then decided to cancel college football. Look, if we're going to play professional football, and I know we talked about this last week too, it seems to me you should be playing college football. I know you weighed in and told us why, but Maine Maritime is literally canceled. They've suspended their football program. I just think people are tremendously overreacting here.
I think once again, it's individual choice versus imposing rules on the group. So, I think that if people want to play football against each other and they don't mind being in a locker room and they don't mind, hitting each other in the line and spitting on each other, if my kid wanted to play football, I would probably say, go ahead and do it. I think, I would probably do that in the Big Ten as well. Although, thank God, Michigan doesn't have to lose to Ohio State.
You said it, not me.
There's a silver lining here. So, it's kind of one of these toss-ups. Keep in mind, once again, my great optimism as the benevolent dictator of Maine.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that once a vaccine is found, things will return, maybe not to where they were, but generally speaking, will be normal. So if we just view this as a one-year respite from our daily lives and just mellow out, smoke some pot, which, by the way, is a real problem in Portland right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, just so you know, they're not going to have the pot stores open in October like I had.
You're going to have to do South Portland or Scarborough or Falmouth, Ken.
I'm not happy about that. That being said, mellow out, and wait till January, February. It's going to be a vaccination. There's going to be billions of doses available, and things will return to normal. I think 1 year is not that big of a deal.
Listen to you being all patient like you are in your advanced age now.
Now, I will agree that if it was my senior year in high school, or if I was one of these football players that, this year was going to be my breakout year and I was going to play college football so well or high school football so well, I was going to get a scholarship to college. Yeah, I'm screwed. I am screwed, but people get, life ain't fair, Mike. You know that.
No, I know. But as I mentioned this yesterday, when you're 17 years old and you're a field hockey player, a varsity soccer player, you're the starting quarterback of your football team, this is the center of your universe. This is your life. The other day I was walking at Colby College, and there's a couple of guys there, a couple of teenage kids there, boys, who are being coached by a couple of professional football coaches in order to get better. One of them is a quarterback, one of them is a wide receiver, and I stopped and asked them who they played for. And the coaches said they played at Gardner High School. Here they are out there on a 90-degree day in the middle of August, busting their tail because they want to get better. And here we are on August 19th now, and we don't know whether or not they're going to play football. For them, and I'm not advocating that 17-year-old kids make the decision here, because we all know what 17-year-old kids are going to do one way or the other. But I understand how important this is to them.
Yeah, and I'm probably more inclined to support high school sports. College sports, high school sports, you have the advantage of you do have parents involved. So it's kind of like, if your kid's not feeling well, you're going to know about it. Your kids go to college, the parents aren't there to kind of see how they're doing and kind of give them some parental guidance. So, if I was the dictator of Maine, I would probably say, okay to high school sports on a voluntary basis. If you want to play, go in and play. College, I'd probably say we're going to just suck it up for a year and be back next year.
What about the MPA comes out today and says this? They say, you know what? We're going to open it all up. All sports are going to be played. If you want your kids to play, here it is. It's there. If you don't want your kids to play, they want to opt out like players are opting out now in the NFL and such, and the NHL and everybody else too harassed to do with the Bruins, then you opt out. Can we make it that black and white, Ken? Or does...
I think sure, why not? I think we can. Now the question is, are you going to have a big enough team? But that would be an opportunity for somebody like me who would never play high school football. If they only have 8 players,
you could be someone other than the mascot or the water boy.
Exactly, the manager. Don't forget the manager.
Exactly, I would never forget the manager. So
yeah.
A couple of things here before we run out of time here, and we move on to agree to disagree with Phil Harriman and Ethan Strimling. And I will ask Phil about the stock market, by the way. A couple of court decisions. First of all, the Maine Supreme Court last week struck down the Corder referendum. They ruled it unconstitutional. Thoughts on that, Ken?
They were absolutely correct. I said this from day one. Like it or not.
That's what Al Diamond said yesterday, too.
What was that?
That's what Al Diamond said. Even though he hates the Corder, he felt the court made the right call.
Yeah, it was absolutely the right call. And I know that a lot of people criticize Matt Dunlap for not ruling it unconstitutional. Frankly, I think he did the smart political thing and say, "Hey, I'm not a judge. Until the judge says no, I'm putting this on the ballot." It was absolutely unconstitutional. That's not the way to reverse a PUC decision. And so I think they were right.
Yeah, I mean, the legislature empowered the PUC to grant these permits. I think you've got to go and if you don't like this, I don't think there's anything you can do about it short term, but you have to go to the source, and that is the legislature, and do something about their empowering the PUC.
Exactly. And and as much as you may hate the corridor, keep in mind that the people who are really opposing it are the oil industry that's going to get clocked by this corridor. I mean, I support the corridor.
I can't believe you said that.
Hard to believe.
I thought you were a big environmentalist, Ken.
I am.
You and Paul LePage are brothers in arms on the corridor.
John Baldacci, too.
John Baldacci's getting paid $250,000 a year by the parent company to support the corridor. That I understand.
All right, I'll give you that. He's a cheerleader. I'll give you
that. Yeah, and I'll bet LePage ends up on the payroll sometime too.
Yeah.
All right, the other court case I want to ask you about was actually a couple of weeks ago, and it was Rick Savage and all the, from Sunday River Brewing and all the business people suing Governor Mills for shutting them down. That got knocked down. That one I disagree with. I just can't see empowering any elected politician to have the power to shut down a business.
The governor of most states in the United States has power to declare an emergency, and the courts have supported it for centuries. The Constitution gives them the power to do it. The executive branch has that kind of power. Look at the executive orders that Donald Trump has been issuing and Barack Obama issued. I don't like them, but they do have some broad power unless curtailed by Congress or in the case of Maine by the legislature.
No, and I'm supportive of executive power in the form of executive decisions when those executive decisions don't take away what I feel are constitutional rights of Americans.
Well, I hear what you're saying. It's a balance. Martial certainly takes away your constitutional rights, and I'm not suggesting this was a good time for martial law. I think it was a balance. Look, for power, for executive orders were rational, reasonable, and balanced and responsive to the situation, and that's going to win the day every day.
Rational and reasonable never, ever describes Ken Altshuler. Ken, another great Ken and Mike hour. Thank you very much, sir. Take care. We'll see you next week.
You're the best, bud. Have a great week.
No, you are. Thanks. Bye-bye. Ken Altshuler, Ken and Mike hour, which leads us to Agree to Disagree on the radio. The boys, Phil and Ethan, they're back. Deep, thoughtful political analysis. Yes, it's possible. They'll provide it next on Legacy 1160 WSKW.
This pandemic threatens the very livelihoods of many Mainers. Senator Susan Collins co-authored the Paycheck Protection Program, saving hundreds of thousands of Maine jobs. Cindy Robbins owns a resort in Poland Spring.
The PPP program saved jobs of my cooks, my general manager, my reservationist, our waitresses, our boat boy. Susan Collins' program got us through a very tough time.
Now, as co-sponsor of S4321, Senator Collins is working to expand small business federal relief and save even more jobs. Stacey Morrison runs a construction company in Augusta.
I'm confident that if my business needs more help, Senator Susan Collins will be there for us.
Call Senator Collins at 207-780-3575. Urge her to pass S4321, the Continuing Small Business Recovery and Paycheck Protection Program Act. Provide more small business relief. Keep fighting for Maine jobs. Paid for by One Nation. www.onenationamerica.org.
Take it to Moody's. Take it to Moody's Collision Center. If your car is a wreck and you don't know where to go, take it to Moody's. You want to get on with your life, get on with the show, take it to Moody's. Good people you can trust and it won't be a fuss. Take it to Moody's Collision Centers. MOODY. Your kid was talking on the cell phone, drove right through your own home, sitting in the parking lot. Maybe you get hit a lot, driving through the green light. Suddenly your side swipe, put it in reverse, but it turned out that it was first. Take it to Moody's. Take it to Moody's Collision Centers.
From the Home Auto Group Studios, Farmington Ford and Franklin Chrysler in Farmington. This is WSKW, Skowhegan, Augusta, Waterville, Legacy 1160.
ABC News, I'm Inez de la Cuetera. Joe Biden is now officially the Democratic nominee for president. The virtual roll call of states happened last night, with his home state of Delaware putting him over the top. Speaking last night, former President Bill Clinton and former Secretary of State Colin Powell, who served under Republican George W. Bush.
Today, we are a country divided, and we have a president doing everything in his power to make it that way and keep us that way. What a difference it will make to have a president who unites us.
Hillary Clinton returns to the convention tonight. Kamala Harris will also speak, and so will former President Barack Obama. Postmaster General Louis DeJoy says the Postal Service will suspend those cost-cutting changes at the post office that Democrats, state attorneys general, and civil rights group warn could jeopardize mail-in voting. The main opposition leader in Belarus, Svetlana Tikhanovskaya, is calling on European countries not to recognize the election that has her rival in power. This is ABC News. New allegations against a Hollywood star. ABC's Jason Nathanson has the details.
Oscar winner Cuba Gooding Jr. facing new serious claims of sexual assault, this time accused of rape.
In a lawsuit filed in federal court in Manhattan, an unnamed woman says Gooding Jr. coaxed her into his room at the Mercer Hotel in 2013 and raped her twice. That she said no many times, but he did not stop. The actor's attorney says the allegations are false. His client is innocent and they're confident the suit will be dismissed. Gooding Jr. is already awaiting trial on separate misdemeanor charges of sexual assault. He's pleaded not guilty to those accusations.
More than 30 wildfires continue to burn up and down California, and the governor has declared a state of emergency. There are also power worries, with high heat again today, raising the possibility of power failures. Carnival Cruise Line says it's been hacked, and the crooks likely got away with some information on guests and employees. The hack was first detected over the weekend. No word yet, though, on how many people are affected. Inez de la Cuetara, ABC News.
Introducing Peacock, the new free streaming service from NBC Universal. It's hit movies, current shows, and live sports. News clips, trending bits, and timeless hits. It's Kim and Courtney, Seth and Jimmy, Hoda, Savannah, Fiona, and Shrek. I'm an ogre! It's the best of streaming and the best of TV. And that's why you can't not watch. Peacock. Watch for free, upgrade for more. Stream now at peacocktv.com. These titles plus the English Premier League and Law & Order SVU streaming now. Content availability may vary over time. Some content requires paid upgrade.
How do smart, hard-working roofing contractors run jobs smoothly, even remotely? They save time with Beacon. The Beacon Pro Plus app features simple online ordering and bill pay. Choose products like the new GAF Timberline HDZ shingles with a 600% larger strike zone nailing area for faster, more accurate installations. Pick the style, color, and quantity, and let the app order for you. With Beacon Pro Plus, order round the clock from anywhere. Work smarter. Download the free app at beaconproplus.com.
I'm CBS 13's Katie Sampson with a news update on Legacy 1160 WSKW. Augusta City Councilors are thinking about consolidating polls for the November election. According to the Kennebec Journal, they're expected to vote tomorrow night on a proposal to hold all voting at the Augusta Civic Center rather than the city's 4 wards. That's what they did for the primary election last month. The paper says the proposal is because of a lack of election workers and to make sure social distancing is possible. Today, Auburn teachers plan to hold another stand-in. They're voicing their concerns over the school committee's reopening plan, which includes 4 days of in-person learning. Today's stand-in starts at 6 p.m. in front of Auburn Hall. It's happening right before the Auburn School Committee meeting, which starts at 7. An update on negotiations between Bath Iron Works and a striking union. Our media partners at the Bangor Daily News say BIW and the union have reached a strike settlement agreement. It outlines how workers will return to the shipyard if the union votes to approve the company's proposed contract. Voting on that contract starts Friday. Maine's Attorney General joins other state attorneys in filing a federal lawsuit challenging the changes being made to the U.S. Postal Service. In a statement, Attorney General Aaron Fry said in part, quote, "I encourage Mainers to cast their ballots in the way they see fit, and I will fight to ensure that they are able to do so without interference." The suit hopes to guarantee safeguards and standards for election mail. News of this lawsuit comes as the U.S. Postal Service's Postmaster General agrees to stop making changes before the November election. In sports, the Celtics take on the Philadelphia 76ers in Game 2 at 6:30. The Bruins have Game 5 against the Carolina Hurricanes at 4 p.m. And after losing to the Phillies 13-6 yesterday, the Red Sox play them again this afternoon at 1:35. I'm CBS 13's Katie Sampson on Legacy 1160 WSKW.
My name is Chris Blackburn. I live in New Gloucester.
I'm Penny. I live in Scarborough.
My name is Carl Parker.
My name is Carla Gill. I'm from Portland, Maine. I have voted for Susan Collins multiple times, and I cannot vote for Susan Collins any longer.
I believe that Susan Collins has changed dramatically.
I have supported Susan Collins, and I will not be supporting her again.
I do not believe Susan Collins is willing to stand up to Donald Trump. Not at all.
Since Donald Trump has become president, it's amazing how often she has taken his side.
I know that Sarah Gideon has long had a reputation for being a consensus builder and working across the aisle to get real legislation done.
I'm supporting Sarah Gideon because I truly believe that Sarah Gideon will fight for Maine.
I believe that Sarah Gideon would stand up to Mitch McConnell.
I have such hope for Sarah. I think she's clearly in touch with Maine, and that's what I'm hoping she can bring to Washington.
I will be supporting Sarah Gideon.
I'm Sarah Gideon, running for U.S. Senate, and I approve this message. Paid for by Sarah Gideon for Maine.
I want to tell you about all of the incredible items you can find at Townline Antiques, but there's no substitute for seeing them in person and reliving those wonderful memories for yourself. Now's the perfect time to shop through their great selection of furniture, artwork, classic electronics, sports memorabilia, jewelry, books, glassware, home decor, and so much more. Take home something to decorate a room with style. Add to your collection or share wonderful memories of your past with family and friends. Town Line Antiques, open Tuesday through Sunday from 10 to 5. Route 201, right on the Winslow-Vassaboro Town Line.
I'm CBS 13 meteorologist Dustin Bong. This morning, some beautiful sunny skies, temperatures in the 50s for most, warming up to the upper 70s later today. A few extra clouds in the afternoon, just a slight chance for a rain shower. Clear and cool tonight in the low 50s. Thursday, beautiful and sunny, highs near 80. Friday, mid-80s, and a chance for rain.
All right, Dustin, thanks. Lots of sunshine. Comfortably cool out there. We have 59 in Skowhegan, 60 in Waterville. We have sunshine, 61 degrees in Augusta. That is the deal. You are up to date from Maine's Heritage Station, Legacy 1160 WSKW.
There's fire and ice, oil and water, black and white, Republican and Democrat. Phil Harriman and Ethan Strimling will agree to disagree. Thank you very much. It's Agree to Disagree on the Mike Violet Show on Legacy 1160 WSKW.
Yes, indeed. That's what these two men do. Phil Harriman, Ethan Strimling. Good morning, gentlemen. How are you both?
I'm doing great. How are you, Michael?
Fine. Ethan and Phil, which one of you is fire and which one is ice?
Oh, baby, come on. You know I'm fire, baby. You know I'm fire.
No question about it. He's on fire.
Look, Phil likes to go fishing in the wintertime, man. You got to be ice. You got to be cool.
Yeah, because I can't see a pretty boy like you who used to wear tights when you were down there at that fancy college in New York City, ice fishing out there somewhere, on Emden Pond or something,
I actually did go ice fishing once, I have to say, and it was about the most boring thing I think I've ever done in my life. So,
look, my experience ice fishing is it's a great excuse to go drink in the winter. That's always been my reason. Okay, last night, Republican convention the night before, Democrat convention. I'm sorry, Ethan. I did not mean to disparage the convention last night.
Yeah.
The Democrat convention last night was Jill Biden, AOC, Bill Clinton, Bernie Sanders. It was Michelle Obama the other night. Let's start off with the other night of Michelle Obama, the former first lady. I disagree completely with the content, but I thought, Phil Harriman, that her delivery was solid, reasonable, and rational, and she came across as very relatable.
Well, for sure. And she has that gift, her charisma, her aura, her vibe, whatever you want to describe it as, connects with people, even like you, who might not agree with her view of the role of government, but the way in which she delivers it is easy on the ears, so to speak.
Yeah, I thought she was very relatable. And again, Ethan, the content, I take that and throw it away, but she is charismatic enough to get me to listen.
Yeah, she's really just, for somebody who clearly doesn't like politics, she is she is perfect at it. What really struck me about her speech was the part about empathy and the importance of empathy and really trying to understand what it's like to walk in somebody else's shoes. I think for all of us, we have our moments of empathy. We have people in our lives that we think about and we try to help them do better or try to feel like, I want to understand the pain that they're suffering and what I can do to help. And all of us have blind spots around that as well. But in politics, empathy is so important because it's really what the role of a politician should be, to try to understand what somebody else is living, whichever side of the aisle you are on, and try to help them, put a little more wind in their sails so that they can live the life that they want to live and pursue happiness in a way that our Constitution laid out for all of us. So she really her speaking about empathy, it was really remarkable. She spoke right to the heart of a lot of American people. I think she moved some souls on Monday night, and that was nice.
Last night was a night where the presumptive first lady of the future, Jill Biden, spoke, and she talked about needing new leadership. Let's hear one clip from Jill Biden.
We just need leadership worthy of our nation, worthy of you, honest leadership to bring us back together, to recover from this pandemic and prepare for whatever else is next.
Economic intercourse.
Joe Biden just jumps right in there with those crazy things. So how, comparatively speaking, Phil Harriman and Ethan Strimling, I'll go with you first here, Ethan. was Jill Biden last night. And again, these speeches, I think there's a certain amount of awkwardness with them all because they're virtual and probably recorded in advance. But how do you think Jill Biden did last night, Ethan?
Yeah, she did well. I mean, her speech was certainly different. I think the lead-in about her, the biographical stuff, was really beautiful. Just talking about the role that she played coming into Joe's family after he lost his first wife and his daughter, obviously, and how she quickly became the mother to his children and how they embraced her, and how she herself now has had to go through some of the suffering of losing one of those kids. Just actually, obviously a few years ago, very tragic. Telling that story, she's a doctor, teacher. She just really understands, I think, some of the roles that we as a society need to play to take care of each other. And she did a very nice job. I mean, she's been in this for a while, but I think she's embraced this presidential run in a way that she hasn't necessarily embraced a lot of the other stuff. She was more continuing her own profession and raising her family, but she did a very nice job last night. The story about her, there were a number of people, including my partner Stephanie, just watching it and getting teary, thinking about what she's gone through and how she's had to hold up some people who have suffered greatly around her while she had to hold in her own suffering.
Phil Harriman, did you get teary?
Yeah, I can emotionally empathize with the struggles of a family that just blended together as a result of becoming a widower and raising the family and dealing with the loss of a child. No parent wants to attend the funeral of a child. So all of that, regardless of your political stripes, can connect at the heart level. Where I think she was less effective was at the policy issue. I thought her strolling through the hallways of a high school and delivering her message from a classroom gave a nice backdrop to her pedigree, if you will, professionally. But what I heard was that we're going to elect her husband, Joe Biden, who's been in the highest levels of power for over 50 years. And now all of a sudden, everything's going to be solved. The problems will go away. I just didn't connect on that level with her.
Well, that's your problem, Phil Harriman. All right, last speaker that I want to address here is our old friend, Bill Clinton.
At a time like this, the Oval Office should be a command center. Instead, it's a storm center. There's only chaos. Just one thing never changes: his determination to deny responsibility and shift the blame.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Miss Lewinsky.
Phil Harriman, it takes some kind of balls, if you're Bill Clinton, pardon that phraseology there, to say what he said about chaos in the White House when you were, well, a harborer of chaos in the Oval Office. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do. And I think the Democrats are just so enraged that Trump even got elected. They're willing to look the other way on, the positive sides of Trump or the negative sides of Bill Clinton. It's all about stoking the emotions and the need for Democrats to go out and elect Joe Biden because we have to get rid of Trump. And I think at some point, Michael, as we get closer to the election, people are going to ask, well, okay, if we do elect Joe Biden, what do we get? What's the policy? And so far, what I've heard is we're going to mandate that everybody wear a mask so that we can beat back COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And two, we're going to return to the economic policies of the Obama-Biden administration, and everything's going to be great. I don't think people want to return to the days of, manufacturing leaving our country in droves, factories shutting down, the economy stagnating, et cetera. I don't think people want to go back to that time frame.
Ethan Strimling, you want to go back to that time?
Well, 6 years of record economic growth, record job growth. Of course, people want that instead of what we have now. And, if you guys can't see sort of this sense in the United States among people in Maine and across this country, feeling like the White House right now just simply is not listening, and it's been completely distracted by its own ego as opposed to really understanding look, COVID, one of the things Bill Clinton said last night, and he actually underestimated it, but it struck me. I looked it up this morning. He said, we are the only industrialized country to have tripled our unemployment rate. And it's actually quadrupled. And that, to me, is what people are feeling out here. And for whatever foibles you want about Bill Clinton's personal life, he balanced the budget, had record economic growth. That was an economy that people look back on and say, yeah, that is the kind of economy you want. Barack Obama, Joe Biden, yeah, that is the kind of economy that we want. What we don't want is quadrupled unemployment. So, yeah, absolutely. Look, Bill Clinton's economy, Barack Obama's economy, that's something that people want now because the chaos in the White House at the moment is solving nothing. They can't even get a done deal in Congress, and people are about to get evicted, and states are getting no money to be able to cover their budgets. There's no additional money going out into COVID relief or COVID medical responses, the post office, money to make sure all of that. We'll get to it, but that's what's not happening. That's the chaos.
Let's hit the kill switch and hit the bell and get to that right now, because you just talked about, Trump and they can't get anything done. Well, Nancy Pelosi has called them back because of the post office thing. Trump hates mailing in ballots. He hates the post office. I know for some this is a match made in heaven or hell, but Phil Harriman, it's interesting. Ethan brought that up, that he talked about a no deal getting done, but they want to come back and talk about the post office. But let's talk about the post office, because I think this has been the epitome of a manufactured crisis. What say you?
Oh, I agree with you. I think there's a big distinction between the financial struggles, which is not new. It's been going on for decades at the U.S. Postal Service, and the link that the media and the Democrats have tried to create, that by not giving the post office billions of dollars, it's another way to disenfranchise voters. They are two separate issues. And frankly, a lot of the pictures and reporting that you've seen about post offices being removed, the mailboxes, et cetera, those were done under the Obama era. And the fact that we're going to mail out to people ballots all over the country, 100 million or more, I don't know. We're going to mail those out, and we're going to run an election through the Postal Service. Really, folks, is that how you maintain the integrity of an election? Is you mass mail ballots? How long do you let them go before you say we're no longer going to count ballots? And how do we know that the person that it was mailed to was the one who actually filled it out, et cetera, et cetera? This is the wrong trail for us to be going down, thinking that you're just going to send a direct mail, a mass mailing out to the public, and we're going to have a free and fair and accurate and ethical election. I don't think
what could possibly go wrong with the mail, Ethan Strimling?
Yeah, it's incredible to me. I mean, the state that does and has done universal mail-in voting is Utah. Like the most Republican state, one of the most Republican states in the nation. They've had universal mail-in voting for years, and nobody's complained about there being any fraud, because there isn't, because we actually know how to do this. And if you're saying that, for years we have 100,000 absentee ballots that come in every year, are we saying that all of those ballots, or some significant portion of those ballots, are fraudulent, that we've been allowing people all these years? Of course not. That's the manufactured crisis here, that all of a sudden the administration doesn't want mail-in voting, and that they're going to try to suppress people from voting because they're unsafe. I mean, remember back in 2000 when we had Bush v. Gore, Republicans were pounding on the table, insisting that every single absentee ballot, even those without a postmark, be counted, because God forbid some person overseas who was serving in our military had submitted their ballot and it wouldn't get counted. Well, I agreed. All ballots should be counted. So stop with the hypocrisy. We do mail-in voting in the United States very well. And the problem today is that the President of the United States is trying to mess with that process, because he knows that's the way that this election is going to occur. And you know what? When you open it to mail-in voting, you get higher returns, a higher percentage of voting.
Respect the bell. Let's move on. I could go on that one all day. Let's go to another insane topic, which is ranked choice voting. It was ruled constitutional again by a federal judge after 2 votes by the public. All these court rulings, the failure of the Maine Republican Party to get the signatures to call for another vote. Are we finally, Phil Harriman, going to accept ranked choice voting for our elections here in the state of Maine?
I don't think the answer is yet final. I get the fact that the courts have determined that it's a lawful election process, but the separate distinction is that the Republicans during this pandemic couldn't go door to door to get signatures, yet enough Maine people cared enough about this ballot initiative to go to a central location, get in their vehicles and go to a central location and sign the petition. So I believe there is a strong energy behind repealing it. It was the technicality that the Secretary of State, Matt Dunlap, denied thousands of signatures on technicalities that didn't have anything to do with how the petitioners were signing it or their residency. These were technical errors by town clerks, understandably, because they were shut down during the pandemic. So I think the Republicans are going to push ahead in the courts to force Matt Dunlap to determine whether he should accept those signatures. And if they are accepted, there is enough signatures to get it on the ballot. And we, the people, not a court, but we, the people, will finally get to decide whether ranked choice voting stays or is repealed.
Well, I'm sure we're not done with it, Ethan, even though I think you are probably in the category of we should be done with it. It is what it is, and let's move on to something else.
Well, I'm just amazed. Phil says that we finally get to vote on this. The public has voted on this twice, and they have made it very clear that we want it. If we go to vote again, I have every confidence in the world that it will win again. And if Republicans want to continue wasting resources on this battle, have at it. But it is clear, it is constitutional. All the legal lawsuits from Bruce Poliquin to the one that we just had have made clear it's constitutional. The people of the state have now voted for it twice. If I were advising Republicans, I would look them in the eye and I'd say, you know what? Why don't you wait a little while, sit back, have this thing go into effect, because you are wasting money and distracting from issues that people care about, and it's just hurting your own party.
Well, and in my view, as I always say, Maine voters prove again and again that they are about the dumbest people in the universe when it comes to voting, and they have spoken. They have said, look, we are stupid and we want this. They've done it many times before. This is just another example. All right, yesterday, Susan B. Anthony was pardoned by President Trump. After 100 years, she was pardoned. Ethan Strimling, has President Trump gone soft?
I know, from Roger Stone.
I am woman, hear me roar.
Yeah, look, this is, it's nice to see Donald Trump finally do something for women, at least in a symbolic gesture. It's amazing because, he's always been so outraged about voter fraud that he would pardon somebody who attempted to vote against the laws. But it is important to remember that when Susan B. Anthony actually violated this law, she did it intentionally. She wanted to be arrested. She wanted to fine because she wanted to make a point, which was a very important point, which is that the Old Boys Club was not allowing women to vote. But good job, Trump. Glad to have that one erased so that now she can rest peacefully and know that her record is expunged.
All right, Phil Harriman.
This is one of those rare moments. There's no fire and there's no ice on this one.
All right, gentlemen. And lastly here, let's hit the bell just for dramatic effect. And what do we got coming in the Agree to Disagree column in the Bangor Daily News and at BangorDailyNews.com this week?
This week we are taking a little look at the do-nothing Republicans of the legislature. I had a little fun at this one. I have to say, I had to get some stuff off my chest, and Bill does just as good of a job as he can, trying to shoot back and knock back my my precise bullets. But
Phil, is he giving you a chance here to talk about the do-nothing Democrats in the legislature?
Oh, well, he went on such a rant. I barely got 100 words in out of the whole column. But, basically what he said is the government should be doing much more than it is.
Oh,
and Republicans are just going around trying to raise money for the election.
Yes, so they should just say, thank you, sir. May I have another? Phil Harriman, Ethan Strimling, fellas, thanks as always. We'll talk to you next week.
All righty. All the best, everyone.
Agree to Disagree with Phil Harriman and Ethan Strimling can also be seen every week in the Bangor Daily News and on BangorDailyNews.com.
Road to the White House. Two former Democratic presidents highlighted night 2 of the virtual Democratic convention.
Joe has the experience, character, and decency to bring us together and restore America's greatness.
Jimmy Carter, who will turn 96 in October.
We deserve a person with integrity and judgment, someone who's honest and fair, someone who is committed to what is best for the American people. Joe is that kind of leader.
Former President Bill Clinton said President Trump is your man if he wants someone spending hours watching TV and firing off social media taunts.
Denying, distracting, and demeaning works great if you're trying to entertain or inflame. But in a real crisis, it collapses like a house of cards.
Biden last night formally secured the Democratic nomination for president. He will accept on Thursday. Hogan Gidley, the president's re-election campaign spokesman, hit Twitter to declare Mr. Clinton the absolute last person in the known universe to be opining about how the Oval Office should be used. Richard Cantu, ABC News.
Typical politician. Sarah Gideon seems to be talking out of both sides of her mouth. Gideon runs ads attacking corporate political contributions when Gideon took corporate political contributions. In fact, Gideon raked in over $150,000 in political contributions from corporate PACs and special interest groups. Gideon also criticized Susan Collins' Paycheck Protection Program, which helps save over 27,000 Maine small businesses and hundreds of thousands of Maine jobs. Meanwhile, Gideon's husband's law firm took at least $1 million from the same Susan Collins Paycheck Protection Program that Gideon criticizes in her negative attack ads. Instead of criticizing Senator Collins, maybe Sarah Gideon should be thanking her. Say no to Sarah Gideon and her double speak and double standards. Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.senateleadershipfund.org.
I'm CBS 13's Katie Sampson with a news update on Legacy 1160 WSKW. Augusta City Councilors are thinking about consolidating polls for the November election. According to the Kennebec Journal, they're expected to vote tomorrow night on a proposal to hold all voting at the Augusta Civic Center rather than the city's 4 wards. That's what they did for the primary election last month. The paper says the proposal is because of a lack of election workers and to make sure social distancing is possible. Today, Auburn teachers plan to hold another stand-in. They're voicing their concerns over the school committee's reopening plan, which includes 4 days of in-person learning. Today's stand-in starts at 6 p.m. in front of Auburn Hall. It's happening right before the Auburn School Committee meeting, which starts at 7. An update on negotiations between Bath Iron Works and a striking union. Our media partners at the Bangor Daily News say BIW and the union have reached a strike settlement agreement. It outlines how workers will return to the shipyard if the union votes to approve the company's proposed contract. Voting on that contract starts Friday. Maine's Attorney General joins other state attorneys in filing a federal lawsuit challenging the changes being made to the U.S. Postal Service. In a statement, Attorney General Aaron Fry said in part, quote, "I encourage Mainers to cast their ballots in the way they see fit, and I will fight to ensure that they are able to do so without interference." The suit hopes to guarantee safeguards and standards for election mail. News of this lawsuit comes as the U.S. Postal Service's Postmaster General agrees to stop making changes before the November election. In sports, the Celtics take on the Philadelphia 76ers in Game 2 at 6:30. The Bruins have Game 5 against the Carolina Hurricanes at 4 p.m. And after losing to the Phillies 13-6 yesterday, the Red Sox play them again this afternoon at 1:35. I'm CBS 13's Katie Sampson on Legacy 1160 WSKW.
As the state of Maine begins to open back up, Franklin Somerset Federal Credit Union has begun the process as well. Franklin Somerset Federal Credit Union has moved forward with reopening some of their lobbies. In accordance with appropriate CDC guidelines, the Farmington and Skowhegan branches now have access to limited services in their lobbies. They also highly recommend continued use of their drive-through services, teller phone, night deposit, easy banking, and mobile banking for everyday transactions and appointments for loans or new accounts at both Farmington and Skowhegan, as well as their other branches in Kingfield, Stratton, and Madison. The safety of their members and their staff is of utmost concern. They'd like to thank you for your patience and your cooperation in helping them as we work through these unusual circumstances and develop newer and safer ways to meet your financial needs. Visit them on the web at f-sfcu.com. Franklin Somerset Federal Federal Credit Union, where their most important member is you. Member NCUA and an equal housing lender.
Summer will soon come to an end, but not the great deals during Haight Chrysler Dodge Jeep's August summer clearance event. Stop in and save on new Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram vehicles now through the end of the month. Haight Chrysler Dodge Jeep, 507 Lakewood Road, Clowns Corner, Madison.
I want to tell you about the incredible items you can find at Townline Antiques, but there's no match for seeing them in person and reliving those wonderful memories for yourself. Now is the perfect time to shop through their great selection of furniture, artwork, classic electronics, sports memorabilia, jewelry, books, glassware, home decor, and so much more. Take home a little something to decorate a room with style, add to your collection, or share a wonderful memory of your past with friends and family. Townline Antiques open Tuesday through Sunday from 10 to 5, Route 201, right on the Winslow-Vassalboro Town Line.
I'm CBS 13 meteorologist Dustin Bong. This morning, some beautiful sunny skies, temperatures in the 50s for most, warming up to the upper 70s later today. A few extra clouds in the afternoon, just a slight chance for a rain shower. Clear and cool tonight in the low 50s. Thursday, beautiful and sunny, highs near 80. Friday, mid-80s, and a chance for rain.
All right, Dustin, thanks. Sunshine 63 in Skowhegan, 65 in Waterville, sunshine 64 degrees here in Augusta. You are now up to date from Maine's Heritage Station, Legacy 1160, WSKW.
In a state where common sense is a lost art, he's basically your father.
Didn't crawl out from under no rocks. We didn't have no tails. We didn't come from monkeys who ate the stick pinko meat.
It's the Mike Violet Show on Legacy 1160 WSKW.
A pleasant good morning. It's 8:34. Mike Violet here on the Mike Violet Show. It's brought to you by Kennebec Electric and Lighting. Contact them for all your electric and lighting servicing, including expert installation and repairs. Their phone number is 861-7028, or you can find them online at KennebecElectric.com. You never know when the door is unlocked here at the studio, who's going to walk in. Imagine my surprise. Actually, I'm not surprised because I got a text message from him a little while ago that my friend, the now retired Chuck Igoe, is here. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Wow, it's good to see you, and it's great to hear you.
Well, it's
How you doing?
I'm doing it.
How's this retirement thing?
What retirement? Retirement is for people who do nothing. I don't do nothing well at all.
I know you don't. You are busier than a one-armed paper hanger.
But so today's kind of a nothing day.
So what are you doing up here?
Two of my very good Navy buddies. One of them lives way up in Machias. The other one normally makes his home down south, like Arkansas way. But he's got a place up on Cedar Lake in Millinocket.
Oh.
So the two of them are together there. My buddy Griff has been up here at the lake for over a month now. So he's
going up? He's
good and settled. We're just going to go up, spend an afternoon.
Nice.
And I'll go back home.
And you go back home and go back to work?
Well, yeah. That'll be happening.
Yeah, so everything's good?
As far as we can tell. I mean,
you miss being on the radio?
No.
No.
I don't. And I like to call this is the radio route. Because you know as well as I do, when you're driving any great distance, there are times you stop. I used to call it the free coffee route. If I were driving up to, as an example, when I drove up to visit my friend Gary for his retirement back in the early 80s from the Navy. He was retiring out of Cutler. And so I drove up and I did the radio route. Stopped in Augusta, cup of coffee, used the little boys' room.
Yep.
Stopped up in Ellsworth, got a cup of coffee, used the little boys' room. You make your way.
Exactly.
It's pretty good.
Well, a lot of people remember, here, listen to me, remember you doing sports on the morning news for years, but you did the morning show on, what was it, Big Hits, Rewind, whatever it's called now, for forever. And I know people, they miss you down there.
Well, it's nice to be missed, but it was just it was just time.
Well, and the departures of Saga we have discussed at length here, with Ken being one of them, me being one several years ago. You got out by choice, though. You got out before the guillotine came down.
Well, I think if the guillotine had come down, though, I would have had 4 months of making more money on unemployment than if I were working. But
yes, that's another topic for another show with another guest.
It's somewhat timely.
Yeah.
All that aside.
Yeah. Well,
no, I did what I needed to do.
yeah. Well, I'm glad of that. I'm glad you got out on your own terms. And
You
I know
guys sound great. A little staticky around top, so you and Ken.
Well,
Ken's staticky anyway.
yeah.
But you're,
you are, if anybody, you are used to Ken static.
yeah, I am.
So, well, look, Chuck, thanks for stopping. It was great to see you, man.
I just wanted to come see the
Yeah.
place. I love what you've done with it. I got to say hi to Mark.
Yes,
which is
go,
cool.
go say hi to Gracie.
I did say hi to
Good.
Gracie already. She showed me
Excellent.
where the little announcer's room was.
Exactly.
And I guess retired announcers are allowed to use it too.
Yes, this is where old radio war horses in Maine go to die.
Well,
So
look, you sound great. Have
thanks,
fun.
Chuck. Appreciate
Keep the needles moving.
Thank you, man.
That
Appreciate
keeps
it.
your boss
Chuck
happy.
Igo, a Maine Association of Broad. You're a Hall of Famer, man. You're a friggin' Hall of Famer. That's for sure. What a great guy, great guest. Just great memories of Chuck in Portland. Just being him. You meet a lot of people in the radio business. A lot of them are some people in this business aren't really nice people. Chuck Igo is not one of those people. He's one of the greatest people I've ever met. Okay, back to business now. John James, another great person in this business, will be here with his Freedom Pep Rally coming in at 9:00 this morning. I want to remind you about the rally that is going on tomorrow here in Augusta. And let me get the Facebook page back up again because let's see. All right. Got that ready to go. The Let Us Play rally. Students, athletes, fans, and coaches, let your voices be heard. This is going to happen tomorrow at Capitol Park in Augusta at 3:30, from 3:30 until 5:30. And Senate candidate Christy Minor is one of the people who is behind this entire thing. So if you can make it tomorrow, if you're interested in making it tomorrow, please do so. Capitol Park in Augusta is where it is going to happen, and it'll go from 3:30 until 5:30. That will be tomorrow at Capitol Park in Augusta. Now, I'm getting a lot of response to the clip that I played earlier. In fact, I've played it a couple of times now. Actually, the gentleman's name, I've been able to find that out. His name is Carlos Picada, and he lives in Shasta County, California, which is in the northern part of California. Now, don't confuse that with San Francisco or Berkeley or Oakland. The northern part of California, I would say, is very similar to the 2nd Congressional District in Maine. It's the other Maine. It's the real Maine. In this case, I don't know if it's the real California, but it's the most red meat American part of California. That is for sure. I mean, I know down in San Diego Way and Orange County, obviously very conservative areas, but the realest of the real Americans are in Northern California and probably in Shasta County. So this guy's name is Carlos Picada, and I think he speaks for a lot of people, maybe for the silent majority.
Nice to speak here, Sheriff, good to see you. I'm telling you guys, I'm pretty appalled at what's going on. At first we sat as concerned citizens, and we all want to figure out how to best navigate our way through this whole COVID thing, And as we realized that it's not quite as dangerous as we thought it'd be, I was absolutely appalled at the cowardice. As you're sitting there with your masks on, I'm paying for wearing masks because I'd be hiding my face too if I was you for what you're doing. It's absolutely horrendous what you're doing to these people. I'm a business owner, and I'm telling you, our families are starving. You guys can sit here with your jobs, you can sit here, you're gonna get paid, you can fall asleep in your chair like that gentleman's doing behind his mask right there, okay? And I'm telling you right now we're being peaceful, and you better be happy that we're good citizens, that we're peaceful citizens. But it's not going to be peaceful much longer, okay? And this isn't a threat. I'm not a criminal. I've never been a criminal. I'm telling you, good citizens are going to turn into real concerned and revolutionary citizens real soon. And nobody else is going to say that. I'm probably the only person that has the balls to say what I'm saying right now. That we're building, we're organizing, and we'll work with law enforcement or without law enforcement. But you won't stop us when time comes because our families are starving. And if you don't hear the seriousness of my voice, I hope you open your ears and you absolutely listen to what I'm saying. Because this is a warning for what's coming. It's not going to be peaceful much longer. It's not going to be rah-rah. It's not going to be speeches. It's not going to be gathered outside saying a pledge of allegiance. It's not going to be waving flags. It's going to be real. When you've seen the things that I've seen, I went to war for this country. I've seen the ugliest, dirtiest part of humanity. I've been in combat, and I never want to go back again. But I'm telling you what, I will to save this country. If it has to be against our own citizens, it will happen. And there's a million people like me, and you won't stop us. Open the county. Let our citizens do what they need to do. Let owners of businesses do what they need to do to feed their
Ken goes in different circles. We all have different cultures we're from. We all travel with different people. Some of us sort of swing between a whole bunch of different kinds of crowds. That's the way life is. And I used to always say to Ken, you live in a cocoon of, liberalism. Admittedly, I mean, Ken doesn't, that's okay. I mean, I don't. Since I left the show 4 years ago, I mean, obviously I don't socialize as much with Ken. And I think it's safe to say I'm probably, or was probably, the only conservative friend he might have socialized with. On the other hand, I swing both ways, if you will. I have lib friends. I have right-wing nutjob friends. I have friends who are gun-toting, rootin'-tootin' shooters like John James. I have friends who are in the woods all the time, shooting legally any animal that they can. I'm not one of those either. I haven't hunted in 25, 30 years. But I come from that culture. I come from the other side, the real side of Maine, as I like to say. There's the southern part of Maine, North Massachusetts. Then there's the real Maine, north of the Volvo line. And so I think we all have those people in our lives. And I think, easily, there's nobody in Ken's life who feels like Carlos Picada does. On the other hand, in my life, there are a majority of people who feel like Carlos Picada does. That's just the way it is. That's what makes horse racing. But I will tell you, in the conversation about the Maine Principals Association and letting kids play sports again, and again, I think the MPA is doing everything they can to make sure that kids play sports this fall. I mentioned that earlier with Ken, that I think the MPA ought to just come out and say, we are going to do it. If you want to be in, you're in. If you don't want to be in, you're out. But I will tell you this, if it comes down to the fact, in my opinion, that if it comes down to the fact that they cancel fall sports in Maine, I think we're going to have an uprising. I think there's going to be an upheaval. I think there's going to be something. What that something is, I don't know. But there's going to be some sort of uprising if we don't have fall sports. There's the psychological damage that is going on. The fact that kids aren't going to be as active as they have been, could be, because of all of this. But the Carlos Pacata 2 minutes and 16 seconds of solid gold sound that we just heard is going to be affirmed by a lot of people. And a lot of people are going to speak up. We're going to hear from people that we probably haven't heard from before. The silent majority isn't going to be silent much longer. I swear to God. The people on social media, when it comes to COVID, comparing the amount of deaths in Spain to those in America, or the amount of deaths in Germany to the amount of deaths in America, is absurd. Again, we're talking about a 99.96% survival rate. We must learn to live with this until and unless it turns into something more and the survival rate drops from 99.96 to 68.96. I can't be any more concerned about it. And I'm not minimizing the fact that 1,300 people died in America yesterday at all from it. It just doesn't work that way for me. I don't minimize what's going on, and I want you to take the precautions that you want to take. But I seriously, this morning when I go out in public, I'm not going to wear a mask anymore. Here at the radio station, I don't wear one. We have been asked by a new member of our staff who's come in and who's a boss. She's my boss, to wear masks around her because she is. I will do that because it's my job and I like my job and need my job. I need to get paid. And so because my job, it's like a dress code or anything else. It's your job. You do what you have to do. But you know what? Beyond that, when I go to the Hanner, I'm not wearing a mask anymore. I'm done. When I'm out on my own in public, I'm not going to do it anymore. But that's just me. That's just the way I'm feeling about this here this morning. So, the John James Freedom Pep Rally, that is coming up next at 9 o'clock this morning. 6 hours of live local talk. The only place you're going to find it in Maine on the radio. You're listening to it right now on Legacy 1160 WSKW, streaming live, legacy1160.com. Facebook Live. That's it. Yeah, Texter points out if New York was a country, would have had the 4th highest death toll. And Cuomo, of course, says he's a freaking hero. He's going to write a book about how he's handled the Rona. Unbelievable. Takes some kind of balls. That's the second time I've said that this morning. 8:52, back after this.
ABC Entertainment News.
Oscar winner Cuba Gooding Jr. facing new serious claims of sexual assault, this time accused of rape. In a lawsuit filed in federal court in Manhattan, an unnamed woman says Gooding Jr. coaxed her into his room at the Mercer Hotel in 2013 and raped her twice. That she said no many times, but he did not stop. The actor's attorney says the allegations are false. His client is innocent and they're confident the suit will be dismissed. Gooding Jr. is already awaiting trial on separate misdemeanor charges of sexual assault. He's pleaded not guilty to those accusations. A bombshell at the top level of Hollywood. NBC Universal Vice Chairman Ron Meyer has resigned after 25 years, saying in a statement it was because he paid off a woman with whom he'd had an affair. Meyer co-founded the high-powered talent agency CAA, and as president and CEO of Universal Pictures, he was responsible for greenlighting hits including Aaron Brockovich, Gladiator, and the Fast and Furious franchise. Netflix has canceled its critically acclaimed talk show Patriot Act with Hassan Minhaj, and Friends star Matthew Perry is 51 Wednesday. Jason Nathanson, ABC News, Hollywood.
Take it to Moody's. Take it to Moody's Collision Center.
If your car is a wreck and you don't know where to go,
take it to Moody's.
You want to get on with your life, get on with the show.
Take it to Moody's.
Good people you can trust and it won't be a fuss.
Take it to Moody's Collision Centers.
MOODY. Your kid was talking on the cell phone, drove right through your own home, sitting in the parking lot. Maybe you get hit a lot, driving through the green light. Suddenly your side swipe, put it in reverse, but it turned out that it was first.
Take it to Moody's. Take it to Moody's Collision Centers.
There is still plenty of summer left. People are doing projects around the house, and our yard is stocked up better than ever. Hi, this is Ken from Mackenzie Landscaping, your landscape supply center. I would like to thank all of our loyal and new customers. We truly appreciate your business. At Mackenzie's, we have a great selection of granite steps, benches, posts, and cobblestones. Maybe you're looking for natural stone for a walkway, a wall, or even a patio. Well, we've got you covered in all those areas. If you're looking for pavers, retaining wall blocks, we also have a great selection and styles from different manufacturers to choose from. When you're looking for a safe place to pick up landscape supplies, come on over to Mackenzie Landscaping. We have a safe place for customers to talk to our staff, order, and pay for materials. So if you're a homeowner or a contractor, near or far away, call or come over to Mackenzie Landscaping on the corner of the Augusta Road and Carter Memorial Drive in Winslow. Shop smart, shop local, and shop at Mackenzie Landscaping, your landscape supply center.
At Rod Cyclone RV, we know these are uncertain times. Everywhere we turn, we hear about the phrase, the new normal. But how about instead of a new normal, we go back to simpler times? Let's put our devices down and get into nature. Share a family dinner on the picnic table, laugh together around the campfire, or go on a hike. At Rod Cyclone RV, we'd love to help you find the perfect camper for your needs. No pressure, no gimmicks, just a quality camper at a good price. Find us online at rodcyclonerv.com or stop in Route 201 in Madison. Rod Cyclone RV, not the biggest, but always trying to be the best.
Cape Air is committed to connecting passengers and communities to the people and places that matter most. Whether you're off to a favorite vacation spot or looking to spend quality time with a family member in another state, when you fly Cape Air, your safety is always their top priority. They're fully prepared and ready to get you wherever you want to go. So why not book that future trip now and start your planning and dreaming today? To connect with a Cape Air flight out of Augusta, Bar Harbor, or Rockland, visit capeair.com.
8:56, Mike Violet on the Mike Violet Show. Story out this morning from the website justthenews.com about the health of Joe Biden from Dr. Ronnie Jackson, who's the former White House physician to Obama and also President Trump. He is speaking out about his impression of Joe Biden's physical and mental fitness for office. Jackson quoted here, quote, "The best way I can describe every time I see him is he's just lost. I won't make any particular diagnosis about dementia, but I will say something is not right." I gotta say, when I saw him on the video feed last night after he got nominated, he looked like a deer caught in the headlights, didn't he? Now, Jackson said he didn't take a look at Biden's medical records, but he has watched him. And he said, "I saw him frequently around the West Wing and places like that. I know he's always been prone to gaps, but these aren't gaps anymore. He can't form sentences. Sometimes he can't complete a thought." Yeah, that's what I have been saying all along. his cognitive decline has gotten to the point where I'm not comfortable as a citizen in this country having him as commander in chief. You know what? And the dementia and losing your mental capacity is never a pleasant topic for anyone. But I think this is going to be something that is going to become more and more apparent as time goes on, obviously, because that's what happens with dementia. But they cannot keep Joe Biden down in the basement forever. He has got to come out at some point. We're going to hear his acceptance speech tomorrow night. And as I said earlier, it's a good thing that it's going to be virtual, because if it was in person, it'd be a train wreck. John James, not a train wreck. His Freedom Pep Rally is next. Enjoy the day. I'll see you back here bright and early tomorrow morning.
From the Home Auto Group Studios, Farmington Ford and Franklin Chrysler in Farmington. This is WSKW, Skowhegan, Augusta, Waterville, Legacy 1160.
ABC News, I'm Inez de la Quatera. Former Vice President Joe Biden officially becoming the Democratic Party's 2020 presidential nominee.
And the great state of Alabama cast 52 votes.
Beginning in Alabama, the Edmund Pettus Bridge, the roll call vote making it official that Joe Biden is the Democratic presidential nominee.
And 192 votes for our next president, Joe Biden.
Biden then making a surprise live appearance to accept the nomination.
Well, thank you very, very much from the bottom of my heart.
He'll give his official speech accepting it tomorrow night. Alex Stone, ABC News, Wilmington, Delaware.
The Postmaster General now says he'll suspend cost-cutting measures until after the November election. Louis DeJoy says he wants to avoid, quote, even the appearance of any impact on election mail. The Trump campaign suing the state of New Jersey after Governor Phil Murphy said all registered voters would be sent mail-in ballots this year. This is ABC News. Demonstrators again hitting the streets of Portland.